Christmas starts here at H&L Rapid True Value. Get Christmas ready by shopping the latest in our catalog. The time brought to you by H&L Rapid True Value is...
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A pure water would drink. The temperature by Pure Water is...
It's 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, Jamaica's unemployment rate is at an all-time record low of 3.6% as of July 2024.
Chairman of the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, Weldon Madden, has resigned over NEPA's handling of criminal prosecution in Rio Cobra oil spill case.
Environment Minister Matthew Samuda says he's dissatisfied with how NEPA handled the matter.
We think it is absolutely important that the country understands that this government is serious about protecting the NRCA.
JUTC establishes new routes from St. Thomas to Kingston.
But with the new 100 buses, we have been able to increase the routes. And of course, we are now currently going through the procurement process for the other 100 buses.
JLP dismisses as baseless and downright lies the PNP's pushback on the initiatives announced by the Prime Minister on Sunday.
In news from the rest of the world, Bahamian National Security Minister Wayne Monroe says cocaine scheme has further eroded trust between the Bahamas and the US.
UK MPs back proposals to legalize assisted dying.
In headline sports, Reggae Girls and South Africa clash in Big Football International in Montego Bay tonight.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, NEPA's chairman has resigned following the agency's controversial decision to withdraw criminal charges against Tradewinds Citrus Limited over a 2023 oil spill in the Rio Cobra. You'll hear from Minister Matthew Samuda.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask how you and the weather. Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page Nationwide News Network and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, we'll go through the agreement made between NEPA and Tradewinds Citrus Limited.
And at 8, it's the A-Team with Dennis Brooks.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile Nationwide 90 FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. This Friday afternoon, Friday, November 29, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by Fostrich Company Limited, fostering rich customer service.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Jamaica's unemployment rate is at a record low of 3.6% as of July 2024. That's according to the latest information provided by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. This is lower than the rate recorded at the end of April of 4.2%. This is the third survey conducted under Statin's new model. It's therefore not comparable to data recorded prior to 2024. However, for context, under the old model, Jamaica's unemployment rate hit its lowest point at 4.2% in October 2023. This means the latest unemployment rate represents a historic low. According to Statin, in July 2024, the total number of unemployed individuals was 52,600. Females made up 52% of this number. Of the total unemployed persons, 19,500 were youth aged 15 to 24 years.
Chairman of the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, NRCA, which oversees the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, Weldon Madden, has resigned. His resignation follows public outcry over the handling of the criminal prosecution of Tradewinds Citrus Limited for contaminating the Rio Cobra. The prosecution was dropped by NEPA and subject to a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, much to the shock of environmentalists. Minister with responsibility for the environment, Matthew Samuda, says the government remains committed to protecting the Rio Cobra. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
Minister Matthew Samuda says Weldon Madan tendered his resignation this morning and he accepted. In no uncertain terms, the Environment Minister says he's dissatisfied with how NEPA handled the matter. That after meeting with the chairman of the NRCA, he tendered his resignation, and I wish to thank him for his service. But critically, we think it is absolutely important that the country understands that this government is serious about protecting the NRCA, and we are moving to ensure that all trade effluent discharge into the Rio Cobra ceases. We are working with all stakeholders to achieve this. Beyond that, the Prime Minister has directed that a river control authority be set up to ensure the good management of all of our natural assets, including our rivers. The minister says while the December 2023 oil spill was largely contained to Tradewinds Citrus Limited's property, some seepage occurred into the Rio Cobra. However, the extent of the seepage was not significant enough to cause a fish kill or require an environmental impact assessment. In light of the foregoing, a determination was made by NEPA that there was no basis for compensation or extensive consultation with stakeholders. Minister Samuda says it's also worth noting that Tradewinds Citrus Limited assumed full responsibility for the cleanup and restoration efforts, which were conducted under the guidance of NEPA. The costs of these efforts greatly exceeded the fines stipulated under the Wildlife Protection Act. The matter went to mediation on October 2, 2024, and the resulting agreement was approved by the NEPA board on November 26. The minister says he understands valid concerns surrounding the care and protection of the Rio Cobra, which is a unique and invaluable asset. He also says there's been valid expressions of concern regarding the inclusion of a non-disclosure agreement clause in the mediated settlement. He says NRCA, which oversees NEPA, has been directed to desist from including NDA clauses in future mediated agreements. I wish to assure Jamaicans that the Jamaican government remains committed to the protection of the Rio Cobra. We wish to also state categorically that the government was not comfortable with the non-disclosure clause in a mediated settlement agreement related to a pollution incident which took place last year in the Rio Cobra. We have directed NEPA to waive their non-disclosure rights and to publish the agreement and the chronology related to the incident with urgency. That will happen this afternoon. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA, has charged 2 of 3 people arrested in this morning's targeted operations in Montego Bay, St. James and Portmore in St. Catherine. The charges are about a $17 million fraud investigation at the Heart Trust NSTA. Charged are a former Heart Trust NSTA employee, Simoz Ellis from Gregory Park in Portmore, and Kevina Atkins, a resident of Salt Spring in St. James. They were both arrested and charged following simultaneous raids at their residences shortly before 5 Friday morning. Ellis was charged with larceny as a servant, possession of criminal property, and conspiracy. Atkins was charged with the offenses of receiving stolen property, possession of criminal property, and conspiracy to defraud. Both are to appear before the St. James Parish Court on December 4, 2024. According to the Director of Communications at MOCA, Major Basil Jarrett, Friday's operation was the result of the diligent and painstaking work of MOCA's investigators and demonstrates the agency's commitment to combating fraud and other financial crimes.
Meanwhile, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says the probe and arrests of 2 former employees send a clear message that corruption will not be tolerated.
The government is very committed to stamping out corruption, and so I'm very happy to hear that after their 6-year investigation, MOCA felt that they were able to pick up some individuals today. And we truly hope that we'll be able to get to the bottom of this situation so that we can send a strong message that anyone who wants to engage in any corruption in any of our entities, that they will be dealt with.
Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, Education Minister. The Heart NSTA Trust has revealed in a statement that it first detected irregularities during the 2018-2019 fiscal year. The trust says MOCA was subsequently alerted. The agency has pledged continued support to ensure a thorough and just resolution to the matter.
The Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC has established new routes from St. Thomas to Kingston. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says the new routes are part of a thrust to expand the services of the state-owned bus company.
As I had said before, we are trying to expand the routes, especially with the new infrastructure, while not compromising the existing routes and the efficiency of those routes for the service for the commuters. So it's a delicate balancing act, but with the new 100 buses, we have been able to increase the routes. And of course, we are now currently going through the procurement process for the other 100 buses, which I expect to arrive here between June and July of next year. That means we will have 275 new buses in less than 2 years. Performance over propaganda every time.
The new routes are 701 and 702. The 701 will travel between Yallas and Kingston via Albion and Bull Bay. The cost will be $200 without a JUTC smart card. However, children with a smart card will pay only $50, while adults will pay $100. The 702 will travel between Morant Bay and Kingston through White Horses, Pamphlet, Yallas, and Albion. Again, the base fare for this route will be $300. However, individuals with a smart card will receive a significant discount. Children will pay only $100 and adults $200. The minister says new routes will also be established in areas that will see significant development in the coming months and years.
This would not be the only new routes, because we have expanded service out to Greater Bernard Lodge, where all those houses are being done. Also out at Innswood, where Silver Sun's development has been done. So we're trying to target all of the major housing developments to give them service as well. So it's a comprehensive, holistic plan.
Darrell Vaz, Transport Minister. Baseless suggestions, misleading statements, and downright lies. That's how JLP officials today described the opposition PNP's pushback on the raft of measures announced by Prime Minister Andrew Holness at the party's 81st annual conference on Sunday. The party held a post-conference media briefing at its Belmont Road headquarters in St. Andrew on Friday. Mahiri Stewart attended and files this report.
The JLP has gone on the offensive in response to the opposition's reaction to the different initiatives made by Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Sunday. At Friday's media briefing, the JLP officials pulled no punches as they reacted to the PNP's criticism. First was Energy Minister Darrell Vaz. He sought to debunk claims by both opposition leader Mark Golding and spokesperson on energy Philip Paulwell that the Holness government has failed in its management of the country's electrical infrastructure.
In 2014, Jamaica was not the highest ranked country in the Caribbean for the Doing Business Index done by the World Bank. These statements made by the opposition's leader are false and is an attempt to rewrite history. The World Bank report is available online and gives evidence that Jamaica was ranked 94th in the world in 2014. The opposition spokesperson stated that by 2016, 60% of electricity was generated from LNG and about 20% from renewables. This is simply not true. LNG was introduced to the Jamaican energy mix in 2016, and there's no way on earth that Paulwell could be claiming that Jamaica achieved 60% of electricity from LNG in 2016. The propaganda and misinformation, and we can even stretch it to downright lies.
MP for Northeast St. Catherine, Kerencia Morrison, took aim at spokesperson on water Ian Hales. In rubbishing the water amnesty for delinquent NWC customers, Mr. Hales made the claim that the board of the agency was left in the dark regarding the government's debt write-off plan. Within hours, the NWC refuted his statement. According to MP Morrison, Mr. Hales owes the board of the NWC a public apology.
The opposition spokesman should desist from making false statements. I have no doubt that Jamaicans have taken note of the fact that the opposition spokesman on water and the PNP have developed what appears to be a track record of making misleading statements, where, quite frankly, anything that is said by the PNP should now be taken with a grain of salt.
And member of the JLP's Communication Task Force, Marlon Morgan, also rubbished the PNP's labeling on the new initiatives as an attempt by the Holness administration to buy the votes in a bid to secure a third term.
Putting money back in the pockets of the Jamaican people is something we have been doing from day one. So any suggestion that the initiatives announced by Prime Minister Holness this past Sunday is somehow a ploy to induce or attract votes is simply baseless, absurd, and quite frankly, contemptuous of the intelligence and the sensibilities of the Jamaican people. All across Jamaica, the people know that giving back is a hallmark of the Andrew Holness-led Jamaica Labour Party government, because it is they who have been the beneficiaries of our many give-back initiatives.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
16 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial is the expert in pest control, air purification, and hygiene services. Call today 876-926-4236.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 in Montego Bay.
Delicious meals, poolside cocktails, right on the beach. Disconnect from the daily worries and reconnect with the one you love. There's no paradise like home. Enjoy a romantic all-inclusive escape at Couples Tower Isle in Ocho Rios from $299 per night. Take advantage of this offer today by calling Couples Resorts at 876-632-8200. Conditions apply.
Continuing the news. The Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, says the main suspect in a viral video seen physically assaulting a student of Hopewell High School in Hanover has been arrested and charged. In a statement to the media on Friday, CEO of the CPFSA, Mrs. Laurette Adams Thomas, condemned the behavior displayed in the video. She says the agency is in dialogue with the school and will be providing psychological support to the victim, a 15-year-old student. Robian Williams tells us more.
The viral video, which was posted to the social media platform TikTok, shows the 15-year-old boy with tears in his eyes, surrounded by other male students in what appears to be a gully. One of the students, who was wearing a face mask, can be seen positioning the boy's head before slapping him in the face. As the boy cried out and attempted to cover his face with his hands, the surrounding students pulled his hands away from his face. The surrounding students then proceeded to slap him repeatedly, despite his cries for them to stop. The boy then crouched down, only to be punched and kicked repeatedly. The CPFSA says the 15-year-old boy is to receive medical attention. According to the CPFSA, the schoolboy was allegedly beaten on 2 occasions earlier this week by the group of students who seem to be members of a gang. Mrs. Laurette Adams Thomas says the agency will be providing counseling through its Children Family Support Unit.
The video was quite disturbing to watch. The behavior of the boys is simply heartless. We continue to see serious levels of aggression in these bullying cases, which indicate that something is fundamentally wrong with our exposure to violence as a society. According to the 2023 Jamaica Violence Against Children Survey, otherwise called the VAC survey, more than 3 out of every 4 children and youth experience violence in their lifetime, and more than half, or 53% of children and youth who experience physical violence had their first incident at ages 12 to 17 years. This is alarming.
She's calling on parents to be more assertive in taking steps to safeguard and support their children.
Parents, you need to maintain an open and active communication system with your child or children so that they can feel comfortable to come and speak with you about what is happening to them. Also, pay attention to your children so that you're able to quickly identify possible signs of bullying. Is your child anxious about going to school? Does he or she have unexplained physical marks or bruising? Is he or she losing money or has no friends? Has his or her academic performance declined? Additionally, if you get complaints about your child bullying others or you notice aggression in your child's behavior towards others, take it seriously.
Members of the public are being encouraged to report bullying as well as all forms of child abuse using the 24-hour child abuse reporting hotline 211. Child abuse reports may also be made through WhatsApp or text at 876-878-2882, email report@childprotection.gov.jm, or by visiting any CPFSA parish office or through the agency's social media pages. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Constabulary Force has confirmed that 3 persons have been arrested in connection with the assault of a student from Hopewell High School. The young men arrested are reportedly linked to volatile communities in Hanover and St. James. Among those in custody is the main suspect, who has been charged with assault occasioning bodily harm. He's slated to appear before the Lucy Family Court on December 3, 2024. The JCF says detectives from Police Area 1 are actively searching for 2 other suspects involved in the incident as investigations continue.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute. Bahamian National Security Minister Wayne Monroe says the explosive allegations that law enforcement officers in the Bahamas were involved in drug trafficking to the United States have eroded trust between the two countries. He was speaking Friday morning on the Guardian Radio's Morning Blend with Dwight Strawn. Minister Monroe says there was already a level of distrust between Bahamian and American law enforcement officials. 11 Bahamians have been charged with conspiracy to import cocaine into the United States, possession and use of firearms, and firearms conspiracy, according to a recently unsealed indictment filed in New York.
UK MPs have backed proposals to legalize assisted dying in England and Wales in a historic vote which paves the way for a change in the law. In the first Commons vote on the issue in nearly a decade, MPs supported a bill which would allow terminally ill adults expected to die within 6 months to seek help to end their own life. The vote was 330 in favor to 275 against, a majority of 55. It followed an emotional debate in the chamber where MPs from both sides shared personal stories which had informed their decisions.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, Jamaica's unemployment rate is at an all-time record low of 3.6% as of July 2024.
Chairman of the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, Weldon Madden, resigns over NEPA's handling of criminal prosecution in Rio Cobra oil spill case.
Environment Minister Matthew Samuda says he's dissatisfied with how NEPA handled the matter.
We think it is absolutely important that the country understands that this government is serious about protecting the NRCA.
I'm Robeanne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by Fosrich Company Limited, fostering rich customer service.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit accounts puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Supercenter, you can fill your Christmas list.
It's a Christmas to remember. Get ready for Azan Supercenter's Super Sale. From now until Christmas, experience the sale event of the season with incredible savings and super deals. Come get your decorations, lights, gifts, and all the best items for your Christmas party. Why ship when you can shop at Azan Supercenter? Our sale is on, so why wait for freight?
So this Christmas, make it Azan Supercenter for sure.
It's a lifestyle.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica's senior women's football team will lock horns with South Africa in the first of 2 international friendlies at the Montego Bay Sports Complex in Catherine Hall this evening at 8. The African champions are using the game as part of their preparation for the African Women's Cup of Nations in July next year. Coach of Jamaica, Hubert Busby, says his team will use the game as part of its preparation for the World Cup qualifiers.
It's about laying the foundation, the building blocks for success, both on and off the pitch, which is just as important if things are happening on the pitch. So it's important that, we take 2 good performances and obviously results heading into the February window, and that should be a good foundation again for us to get ready for the World Cup qualifiers later on in the year.
Hubert Busby, coach of the Jamaican national senior women's football team. And the Jamaican and Manchester City forward Khadija Bunny-Shaw is among 16 players nominated for the Best FIFA Women's Player Award for 2024. Shaw has so far secured several individual awards, including the PFA Players Player of the Year, Player of the Season, Golden Boot, and English Football Writers Association's Women's Footballer of the Year. The 27-year-old was also named to the English Women's Super League Team of the Year. President of the JFF, Mike Ricketts, says Shaw continues to make Jamaica proud.
Jamaica continues to get worldwide accolades, and this is just something that resonates so very well with the JFF, with our women's program, and certainly with all of Jamaica. Well, we are so very excited at the prospects, but it has really made us very proud, and it is something that the entire Jamaica can gloat about.
And Shaw will be involved in the game tonight against South Africa, and Ricketts is calling on the country to go out and support the girls.
We have reasons to be very, very proud of our young female footballers. So I want to use this opportunity to encourage Jamaica to support our girls. We will be going for further glory when we try to qualify for the 2027 Women's World Cup for a 3rd consecutive time. So this is all a part of the process going forward. So like I say, I want to encourage Jamaica to come out. We will be at the Catherine Hall Stadium at 8 p.m. and again at 7:30 p.m. on Monday.
JFF President Michael Ricketts, the first title of the 2024 Issa Schoolboy football season, will be decided tomorrow at the National Stadium. Defending champions Glenmuir will put their title on the line when they face former champions Jamaica College in the final of the Champions Cup knockout at the National Stadium starting at 5. Glenmuir produced a 5-star performance to beat Ocherius in one semi-final, while JC had to see off Heidel in the other. Captain of the West Indies team, Craig Brathwaite, says they'll be definitely going for a win when they take on Bangladesh in the second test match. That's at Sabina Park, and it starts tomorrow. The Caribbean side has not won a test since series all year, and Brathwaite says they want to end the year on the high.
You can't ever take any test match for granted, any test series, saying that. And it's very important we end this year strong. Obviously next year we have a lot of test cricket to play as well. So yeah, very crucial for us. Obviously the first test is going as history. Got to come and start right back over as a bowling unit and a batting unit. But we look forward to it.
And Brathwaite says as confident as the West Indies team is at the minute, they still have to go out there and execute.
Service has on a bit of grass, which is good to see. Obviously a lot of moisture around, a lot of rain, so we gotta start fresh this game. Yeah, it's good to see. As I said, the covering of the grass on the surface. Any day that just the service, we gotta go there and bowl well, and obviously take the catches and bat well and put runs on the board. So we're looking forward to doing that.
Was in his test captain Craig Brathwaite. Finally, the inaugural Carifta Gymnastic Championships is now underway at the National Indoor Sports Centre. The two-day championship is set to end tomorrow. Hosts Jamaica has selected a 73-member team for the championship. They'll go up against the likes of Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Aruba, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Bermuda and the Bahamas. Jamaica's team manager, Samantha Bell, says there'll be something special in it for everyone, and you'll be hearing from Samantha Bell in our next sportscast, which will come your way at 6:05 this evening.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30.
I don't have no time for whole heap of paperwork. That's why I downloaded and signed up for my One JN Passport app. Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The temperature by the One JN Passport app is
25 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 27 in the western city, Montego Bay, where Jamaica will take on South Africa tonight in women's international football.
Since 1995, we've been your go-to source for everything related to billiards, amusement machines, and electronics. With locations at 1A Lindsay Terrace, Kingston 10, and the Village Plaza, Big Bridge, Savannah, Lamar, we offer top-quality pool table parts and accessories, cutting-edge gaming machines, and more. We also specialize in assembly, sales, and service of amusement machines. We provide unmatched customer service, expert solutions, and products tailored to your needs. Who are we? We are Eclipse Enterprise. Telephone 876-960-3891.
Former staff of Jamaica Mutual Life and Jamaica Mutual Properties. For beneficiaries of the pension schemes or their next of kin or beneficiaries of their estate are invited to contact Guardian Life at 12 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10 or 876-927-4105, extension 2794 or GLL Pensions at myguardiangroup.com to make arrangements to claim their pension and or any other benefits payable.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091. Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
None of mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
The cover story is brought to you by New World Home Improvement and Detail Cleaning. Detailed cleaning for your business and home.
Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. It is 5:34, the 29th of November. The month is winding up as we head into the very, very special December period. I am Siobhan Campbell, and welcome to the cover story.
The afternoon to you, Sir Siobhan, and top of the afternoon to all our listeners and our viewers on YouTube as well. Almost in the last month of the year, my brother.
Yes, Christmas comes over. What are your plans for Christmas, Tyrone?
Like they usually are, very quiet with family, my brother.
But then again, your family sticks to the motto "fruitful and multiply." I don't know about the quiet part. So it's quite a substantial family. Well, listeners, we are back on the matter of NEPA this afternoon. Chairman of the National Resources Conservation Authority, NRCA, which oversees NEPA, Weldon Madan, has resigned. His resignation follows public outcry over the handling of the criminal prosecution of Tradewinds Citrus Limited for the contamination of the Rio Cobra. The prosecution was dropped by NEPA and subject to a non-disclosure agreement, much to the shock of environmentalists. Minister with responsibility for the environment, Matthew Samuda, says the government remains committed to protecting the Rio Cobra. More in the story. Minister Matthew Samuda says Weldon Madan tendered his resignation this morning and he accepted. In no uncertain terms, the Environment Minister says he's dissatisfied with how NEPA handled the matter.
That after meeting with the chairman of the NRCA, he tendered his resignation, and I wish to thank him for his service. But critically, we think it is absolutely important that the country understands that this government is serious about protecting the NRCA, and we are moving to ensure that all trade effluent discharge into the Rio Cobra ceases. We are working with all stakeholders to achieve this. Beyond that, the Prime Minister has directed that a river control authority be set up to ensure the good management of all of our natural assets, including our rivers.
The minister says while the December 2023 oil spill was largely contained to Tradewinds Citrus Limited's property, some seepage occurred into the Rio Cobra. However, the extent of the seepage was not significant enough to cause a fish kill or require an environmental impact assessment. In light of the foregoing, a determination was made by NEPA that there was no basis for compensation or extensive consultation with stakeholders. Minister Samuda says it's also worth noting that Tradewinds Citrus Limited assumed full responsibility for the cleanup and restoration efforts, which were conducted under the guidance of NEPA. The costs of these efforts greatly exceeded the fines stipulated under the Wildlife Protection Act. The matter went to mediation on October 2, 2024, and the resulting agreement was approved by the NEPA board on November 26. The minister says he understands valid concerns surrounding the care and protection of the Rio Cobra, which is a unique and invaluable asset. He also says there's been valid expressions of concern regarding the inclusion of a non-disclosure agreement clause in the mediated settlement. He says NRCA, which oversees NEPA, has been directed to desist from including NDA clauses in future mediated agreements.
I wish to assure Jamaicans that the Jamaican government remains committed to the protection of the Rio Cobra. We wish to also state categorically that the government was not comfortable with the non-disclosure clause in a mediated settlement agreement related to a pollution incident which took place last year in the Rio Cobra. We have directed NEPA to waive their non-disclosure rights and to publish the agreement and the chronology related to the incident with urgency. That will happen this afternoon.
Before you get into it, Tyrone, just to point out to the listeners, yes, they have published that agreement. We have that in hand along with the chronology of events, but we'll get to that later down in the program at 6:40.
Though the Environment Minister, Matthew Samuda, says there was no need for a non-disclosure agreement. He was speaking with Nationwide's Mahiri Stewart earlier today.
The agreement as well as the rest of the file that exists related to this incident. Quite frankly, I'm not sure why anyone on either side pursued a non-disclosure. It's a very straightforward matter, and it's not in line with the government standards of transparency. Ultimately, we were uncomfortable with this, and we've directed NEPA to waive their rights under the NDC in the settled agreement. And Tradewind Citrus has written to us waiving their rights as well.
Right, I see. So that means that there wasn't anything in the agreement that you think rose to the level that warranted an NDA.
There's nothing in the agreement that warrants an NDA. There's nothing in relation to the incident that warrants an NDA. It was an oil spill on the grounds of Tradewind Citrus. It was cauterized, and for the most part, very, very little oil made its way into the river. It's unfortunate. It was not necessary. It's not in line with the government standards. The incident did not rise to the scientific standards to be classified as a fish kill. It wasn't a massive ecological disaster. There was no. It's not the worst of the issues NEPA has had to deal with over its life. It's unfortunate.
Minister Matthew Samuda there, he says he's also seeking to assure the public that the government is not hiding anything and is fully transparent on this matter.
So I agree that there shouldn't have been an NDA, and I think that's where I will cease with that. The government must be transparent in all of its dealings. Let's start from that general principle.
Yeah.
The government should share its results. It should share any analysis it does of any incident, whether it's in the environment or otherwise. And what has happened this afternoon is the sharing of the chronology and the sharing of the settlement agreement that was in place. Please note, when the incident occurred, NEPA did provide significant information, including via your station, to the public on what was found and what was discovered and what the issue was. So the government wasn't hiding. I'm still, as I said, confused as to the reason why someone pursued an NDA in this particular case, because there's no reason for it, and there's nothing untoward, nothing certainly that I've seen, which is nefarious. So there was absolutely no reason to not just provide the information as it related to why the charges were dropped.
And given what you've just said, the attorney that was representing Friends of Rio Cobra, given what you just said, he says that he believes NEPA has not only sacrificed public interest, but he's also calling on them to be more proactive in its operations. Based on what's taken place, do you think these are fair claims to make?
I don't respond to the claims of their attorney, to be frank. Not into these matters for excitement and theatric. Ultimately, my primary concern is that the people feel that they have access to the information. The information has been made available by way of the website. If there's any additional information as we continue to review the file that I think, whether it would normally be made public or not, that I think is appropriate to go out, we will make that available as a matter of urgency. Government is transparent. The government is not hiding anything. The government is particularly concerned about those residents who live along the Rio Cobra, and this is why some actions are being taken, and I don't think we should divert from the actions that we've taken. The first is the Prime Minister would have stated in his budget debate that he has directed the NEPA to meet with all stakeholders to develop the engineering solutions and the environmental solutions that stop all trade effluent being discharged into the Rio Cobra. Now, that would be groundbreaking for any river in the world. It's a major, major achievement if we can achieve that. And we're working towards it, and we're working on pace. That's one. Two, he has directed several arms of the state to examine the living conditions of those who live along the riverbanks to make sure where interventions need to be made by way of potable water connections, by way of sewage connections, by way of housing assistance, by way of relocation where there's danger, that is done, and that is underway as well. The further reality is that the Prime Minister, as we would have announced in my statement earlier, has directed that there is the development of a river control authority. This is to ensure that we safeguard the national assets, national environmental assets of the country, not least of all our rivers. And of course, the Rio Cobra will benefit from such an authority. And we're working towards that. Beyond that, the government has said that where there are issues, we will increase the fines. The long form of the bills to amend the NRCA Act and the Wildlife Protection Act are indeed ready. And we expect to table within a matter of days.
You can go ahead with the next one for me, Siobhan.
Very well. The minister says it is unusual for ministers to be involved in NEPA's regulatory affairs. And yes, go ahead.
Right. So it seems as though you've received and you've accepted the resignation of the NEPA chairman. On your review of this matter, did you lose faith in the board?
No, I have not lost faith in the board, but on review of the matter with the chairman, he offered his resignation, and I thanked him for his service.
And do you have any further concerns over the operations at NEPA based on repeated issues coming to the fore in the public domain?
Look, every organization has its challenges. I wouldn't classify it as repeated issues coming to the fore. The reality is Jamaica had developmental challenges and it is pursuing a development agenda. And oftentimes in every single country that clashes with the environmental management agenda. This government has been very clear that it will not pursue development that does not meet sustainability standards. And I believe that our actions and our strides have proven that the protection of the cockpit country, the protection of up to 25% of Jamaica's landmass, our work in plastics, our work in pollution generally, we have pursued a sustainable development agenda, and NEPA is a part of that.
In terms of this matter with trade winds and NEPA, is it usual for such a matter to not be brought to the attention of you, the minister, or your ministry at all?
I've never seen a prosecution file from NEPA. NEPA has the authority to prosecute environmental breaches. This is the first time I've ever been asked about one, and that was post-Wednesday when the issue rose to the national attention. So it would be very unusual for a minister to be brought into the regulatory affairs of NEPA, and that certainly wasn't the case in this occasion.
We're up on the break, listeners. More after this from the minister and that interview with Mahiri Stewart.
Clearing personal non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
15 minutes to 6.
Label Crafts Jamaica Limited offers exceptional finishes that will make your product extraordinary at an affordable cost. The Temperature, brought to you by Label Crafts Jamaica Limited. The #1 choice for label printing is...
The temperature is 25 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston, and 27 out west in Montego Bay.
New World Home Improvement and Detail Cleaning offers high-quality detail cleaning and home improvement services. They cater to residential and commercial properties. They clean from the ceiling to the floor. They clean sofas, mattresses, carpets, and chairs. They deep clean and restore all floors. They repair and restore roofing. They do tiling, general paintings, drywall works, and other carpentry services to include property renovation. Call them 876-384-9313. Follow them at New World Detail Cleaning and Home Improvement.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to the cover story as we go through this matter of that agreement between NEPA and Tradewinds Citrus over the contamination of the Rio Cobra. If you're just getting caught up, NEPA's chairman has resigned this morning. He was on a call with the minister earlier this morning in which he offered his resignation, and the minister accepted over what the minister said was an unsatisfactory handling of this whole affair by NEPA up to the board level. We had done an interview with the minister, our own Mahiri Stewart, and he provided us with some answers. And the minister says the leak by Tradewinds Citrus did not cause a large-scale fish kill, or what would be considered by the legal definition of a fish kill, nor did it result in the disruption of livelihoods.
Yesterday on Nationwide, we had the JET CEO, Dr. Teresa Rodriguez Moody, and she says it appears as though the people that were affected by this oil spill weren't taken into consideration when NEPA made this agreement with Tradewinds Citrus. Would you agree based on what took place?
Well, very few people were affected by this oil spill. Now, the government, to be abundantly clear, is always concerned about anything that affects its citizens. We're particularly concerned about anything that would affect the citizens that live along the banks of the Rio Cobra. I was on the front lines dealing with the issue when you had the effluent leak from the bauxite plant 2 years ago. I know what the residents went through. I know what I had to go through personally to deal with that issue. We're very concerned anytime there's an issue that affects the residents of the Rio Cobra Basin. However, in this case, the oil leak simply did not trigger a fish kill. It did not cause a loss in livelihood, and it did not cause an ecological disaster. It was contained largely on the grounds of Tradewinds Citrus, and what leaked into the Rio Cobra would not reach the standards of materiality. That is the truth, and that is the facts. Now, I understand, having lived through the bauxite effluent leak, having lived through that experience, believe me, every time we hear the name Rio Cobra, there's anxiety. So I can only imagine the anxiety and the stress for those who live off of the river every time there's a pollution event, minor or major. Believe me, I can imagine what that anxiety is. However, in this case, there would have been no basis, as no livelihoods were disrupted, to have a compensation discussion. So despite the claims of the Friends of Rio Cobra, etc., for $11 million, there was simply no basis. When you look at the evidence from the Fisheries Division, the National Fisheries Authority, WRA, NRCA, NIC, because they all patrol the river, you didn't have a fish kill of scale. You had, in all reports, depending on which report you look at, no more than 30 fish that were found along the banks for the entire river. That's not a fish kill by scientific standards, by the standards that have been provided to us by the Fisheries Authority. Now, I understand the anxiety, as I said, but there simply wasn't that sort of disruption. The other issue that I'd like to bring to the table is the legitimacy of Friends of Rio Cobra, whatever the name is. If you revert to the chronology shown when they went to court and these persons tried to stake claim, we could not find registration for this organization on the friendly societies. There's no legitimacy in representation of persons they claim to be affected. That legitimacy would come from a member of parliament, a councillor, a fisherman's corps, or in this case, because it is fisherfolk who would be primarily affected, the National Fisheries Authority. But there was not a fish kill, and none of the legitimate representatives of those people came forward to say there was disruption. Hence the challenge. So it's unfortunate that JET has taken this route, but the people who legitimately represent those who could have been affected but weren't in this case did not come forward with those challenges.
Before you continue, Tyrone, just to point out to our listeners that we are going to have Dr. Marcus Goff on later. He's the representative of Friends of the Rio Cobra to answer that very particular statement made by the minister questioning the legitimacy of that organization.
Not just that, the characterization of the fish kill, because based on our reporting, which is what I was looking at, why I asked you to continue to read on, because our reporting was that the December 2023 oil spill devastated fishing communities in St. Catherine. That is our reportage, and if it is not that significant of an issue and 30 fish were what he said were affected, why did NEPA decide to prosecute this matter? if it's not a significant issue? I'm not understanding the minister's characterization. I think it's worthy of further interrogation, but we'll do that after we finish getting through his remarks here. The minister went on to seek to assure the public that if there is an issue in the future, the relevant people will be held accountable.
I would say the truth is Jamaica has not been the best stewards of our environment post-independence. That's impatient of debate. So let's not start from the position that all is well and we've done everything that we can as a nation. We haven't. What I can say to those persons who may have doubts, who have deep concerns, is that the government is absolutely committed to ensure that NEPA functions, that our environmental regulations protect our natural assets, and we commit to ensure that we develop sustainably. And if you look at our work thus far, the protection of the cockpit country, declaration of over 14 forestry areas, the completion of the protection of Pedro Keys, the ban on plastics, several pollution-reducing regulations. If you look at those things and our objective, you would say, well, this government is working at a different pace than any other government before, a much faster pace in protecting our environment. Right. But I want to leave you with one thing, Mahir. To the residents of Rio Cobra, I understand the anxiety. I understand the impact, the devastating impact that this issue has had in the past on citizens. And we are working to protect the Rio Cobra. And you have our word that if there is an incident that does disrupt lives and livelihoods, similarly to what would have happened with the bauxite effluent leak, we will ensure that there's compensation paid, as we did in that case. We will also hold those accountable. One should recall that we drew down on a $117 million bond in that case and made some $16 million available to the fisher folk. So we've done it before. If there is an issue, we will not leave them hanging. However, we will also not allow those who are trying to take advantage of a situation to claim a particular issue that doesn't exist.
Minister Matthew Smuda there. We also briefly asked him to touch on that concern that many have, including the opposition leader Mark Golding, about the placement of the environment portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth, and he had this to say.
So we have to look at the performance, right? The greatest effort to protect Jamaica's landmass under the NRCA Act with forestry orders has come while it is under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. The greatest amount of policy upgrades has come while the environment portfolio is under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. The call from the opposition leader is unnecessary and is not bound in facts. It's not bound in the reality of the management of the environment portfolio.
So there you have it, Minister with responsibility for the environment at the Ministry of Economic Growth, Matthew Smuda, speaking with our Mahiri Stewart earlier this afternoon. So Tyrone, listening to
Siobhan, of the fish kill, because the minister is downplaying the significance of the fish kill.
Well, I can't speak to the. I didn't count how many fish were damaged during that process, and all I can do is trust that the documentation provided here in the chronology of events will, based on their assessment, will give us some insight as to the amount of damage done. But one would assume, and I can only give NEPA the benefit of the doubt based on them being one of our environmental agencies, that they would have proceeded with the court matter if they felt that the evidence existed there rather than even attempting mediation.
You would give them the benefit of the doubt, an agency that signed a non-disclosure agreement.
Well, we have that NDA in front of us.
I would love your faith in humanity.
We have that NDA in front of us, and a few of those clauses, which we'll get into later at 6:40, do stand out to me as quite interesting based on their implications not only for NEPA on this matter, but other organizations such as Friends of the Rio Cobra and JET, in terms of potential claims they could have brought against trade winds on this issue. But as I said, listeners, we're up up to the headlines. So please come back to us at 6:40. We will have with us Dr. Marcus Goff, who represents Friends of the Rio Cobra, and we will also go through this, what they call mediation settle agreement signed between NEPA and Tradewinds Citrus Limited, along with, I believe, a representative from JET to discuss said document. So the headlines are next, listeners. Thank you for joining us for the cover story.
The cover story was brought to you by New World Home Improvement and Detail Cleaning. Detailed cleaning for your business and home.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Jamaica's unemployment rate is at a record low of 3.6% as of July 2024. That's according to the latest information provided by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. This is lower than the rate recorded at the end of April of 4.2%. This is the third survey conducted under Statin's new model. It's therefore not comparable to data recorded prior to 2024. However, for context, under the old model, Jamaica's unemployment rate hit its lowest point at 4.2% in October 2023. This means the latest unemployment rate represents a historic low. According to Statin, in July 2024, the total number of unemployed individuals was 52,600. Females made up 52% of this number. Of the total unemployed persons, 19,500 were youth aged 15 to 24 years. Chairman of the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, NRCA, which oversees the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, Weldon Madden, has resigned. His resignation follows public outcry over the handling of the criminal prosecution of Tradewinds Citrus Limited for contaminating the Rio Cobra. The prosecution was dropped by NEPA and subject to a non-disclosure agreement, NDAs, much to the shock of environmentalists. Minister with responsibility for the environment, Matthew Samuda, says the government remains committed to protecting the Rio Cobra. He says he's dissatisfied with how NEPA handled the matter.
That after meeting with the chairman of the NRCA, he tendered his resignation, and I wish to thank him for his service. But critically, we think it is absolutely important that the country understands that this government is serious about protecting the NRCA, and we are moving to ensure that all trade effluent discharge into the Rio Cobra ceases. We are working with all stakeholders to achieve this. Beyond that, the Prime Minister has directed that a river control authority be set up to ensure the good management of all of our natural assets, including our rivers.
The minister says the NRCA, which oversees NEPA, has been directed to desist from including NDA clauses in future mediated agreements.
I wish to assure Jamaicans that the Jamaican government remains committed to the protection of the Rio Cobra. We wish to also state categorically that the government was not comfortable with the non-disclosure clause in a mediated settlement agreement related to a pollution incident which took place last year in the Rio Cobra. We have directed NEPA to waive their non-disclosure rights and to publish the agreement and the chronology related to the incident with urgency. That will happen this afternoon.
Matthew Samuda, Minister with responsibility for the environment. The Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, MOCA, has charged 2 of the 3 people arrested in this morning's targeted operations in Montego Bay, St. James and Portmore in St. Catherine. The charges are about a $17 million fraud investigation at the Hart NSTA Trust. Charged is a former Hart NSTA Trust employee, Simos Ellis, from Gregory Park in Portmore, and Kevina Atkins, a resident of Salt Spring in St. James. They were both arrested and charged following simultaneous raids at their residences shortly before 5 Friday morning. Ellis was charged with larceny as a servant, possession of criminal property, and conspiracy. Atkins was charged with the offenses of receiving stolen property, possession of criminal property, and conspiracy to defraud. Both are to appear before the St. James Parish Court on December 4, 2024. Meanwhile, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says the probe and arrests of 2 former Hart NSTA Trust employees sends a clear message that corruption will not be tolerated.
The government is very committed to stamping out corruption, and so I'm very happy to hear that after their 6-year investigation, MOCA felt that they were able to pick up some individuals today. And we truly hope that we'll be able to get to the bottom of this situation so that we can send a strong message that anyone who wants to engage in any corruption in any of our entities, that they will be dealt with.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Education Minister. The Hart NSTA Trust has revealed in a statement that it first detected irregularities during the 2018-2019 fiscal year. The trust says MOCA was subsequently alerted. The agency has pledged continued support to ensure a thorough and just resolution to the matter. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, has established new routes from St. Thomas to Kingston. The new routes are 701 and 702. The 701 will travel between Yallas and Kingston via Albion and Bull Bay. The cost will be $200 without a JUTC smart card. However, children with a smart card will pay only $50, while adults will pay $100. The 702 will travel between Morant Bay and Kingston through White Horses, Pamphret, Yallas, and Albion. The base fare for this route will be $300. However, individuals with a smart card will receive a significant discount. Children will pay only $100 and adults $200. Commanding Officer of the Hanover Police, Superintendent Andrew Nish, has confirmed that 3 persons have been arrested in connection with the assault of a student from Hopewell High School.
The Hanover Police have arrested 3 male students in connection with a physical assault incident of another student. Investigations are still underway to identify and apprehend the additional suspects. The relevant authorities have been notified and counseling services will be provided to the victim and his family. The police condemn and will not condone these senseless acts of violence in Hanover or anywhere in Jamaica. We are working diligently to ensure all parties involved are held accountable. Student safety and well-being remain a top priority, and the police will continue to work closely with the school community to prevent such incidents.
Superintendent Andrew Nish, Commanding Officer of the Hanover Police Division. The young men arrested are reportedly linked to volatile communities in Hanover and St. James. Among those in custody is the main suspect, who has been charged with assault occasioning bodily harm. He is slated to appear before the Lucy Family Court on December 3, 2024. The JCF says detectives from Police Area 1 are actively searching for 2 other suspects involved in the incident as investigations continue. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
Life gets busy, from work to play, but don't forget your health checked.
The NHF card now offers discounts on PSA tests and pap smears to help check for prostate and cervical cancer. Women 21 and over get a subsidy for pap smears every 3 years.
And men 40 and over receive an annual subsidy for PSA tests. Get your NHF card today.
The NHF is here for health. The NHF is here for you.
Time for a new look.
And high time to get serious about protecting our home and investment.
It's time to choose BH Paints with over 60 years experience in quality paint finishes. Their products are superior and long-lasting.
Time to check them out.
Ask about BH Paint's 100% acrylic Ultima Plus paint and primer in one. Experience rich colors with advanced UV and mildew-resistant technologies, independently tested by experts. What are you waiting for? Visit a BH Paint's Color Center today.
Shop and win a mega kitchen from Megamart. Spend $6,000 or more before GCT at any Megamart location and fill out the entry form provided for a chance to win a brand new stove, fridge, and microwave this Christmas from Appliance Traders Limited. Visit us on social media to win monthly prizes courtesy of Lasco, Grace Foods, and Facey Commodity Company Limited. Promotion runs from September 30 to December 6th. Shop now to win a mega kitchen from Megamart. The best value by far. Conditions apply. Must be 18 years or older to enter. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Unique Living's new arrivals are here. Revamp your space with sleek, fixed and sliding show panels, shower systems and faucets, stylish vanities, basins and kitchen sinks, closet and storage solutions, hanging aids, and more. Available in different finishes and sizes to match your style. Visit them today and transform your space at shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit their website at uniquelivingja.com to shop.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alex Raby. We kick things off with some football as the first title of the 2024 ISA schoolboy football season will be decided tomorrow at the National Stadium. Defending champions Glenmuir will put their title on the line when they face former champions Jamaica College in the final of the Champions Cup knockout starting at 5 p.m. Glenmuir produced a 5-star performance to beat Ocho Rios in one semi-final, while JC had to see off Hydel in the other. Jamaica and Manchester City forward Khadija Bonnie Shaw is among 16 players nominated for the Best FIFA Women's Player Award for 2024. Shaw was so far secured several individual awards including PFA Players Player of the Year, Player of the Season, Golden Boot and English Football Writers Association's Women's Football of the Year. The 27-year-old was also named to England's English Women's Super League Team of the Year. President of the Jamaica Football Federation, JFF, Michael Ricketts, says Shaw continued to make Jamaica proud.
Khadija continues to get worldwide accolades, and this is just something that resonates so very well with the JFF, with the women's program, and certainly with all of Jamaica. Well, we are so very excited at the prospects, but it has really made us very proud, and it is something that the entire Jamaica can gloat about.
Shaw will take to the field with the Reggae Girls in the first of two friendly international against South Africa at Catherine Hall this evening at 8. Ricketts is calling on the entire Jamaica to support the girls.
We have reasons to be very, very proud of our young female footballers. So I want to use this opportunity to encourage Jamaica to support our girls. We will be going for further glory when we try to qualify for the 2027 Women's World Cup for a third consecutive time. So this is all a part of the process going forward. So like I say, I want to encourage Jamaica to come out. We will be at the Catherine Hall Stadium at 8 p.m. and again at 7:30 p.m. on Monday.
Michael Ricketts. The West Ham host London rivals Arsenal in English Premier League tomorrow off the back of a much-needed 2-0 win over Newcastle on Monday. Arsenal will be desperate to put a good run of the results together over the Christmas and the New Year's period after one win in their last 5 league matches. They are 9 points off league leaders Liverpool, having already dropped points on 6 occasions this season. In other fixtures, Brentford are at home to Leicester City, Crystal Palace take on Newcastle, Nottingham Forest host Ipswich Town, and Wolverhampton welcome Bournemouth. Meanwhile, out of sorts, Manchester City travel to leaders Liverpool, knowing defeat will increase the gap between the clubs to 11 points on Sunday. In Sunday's other games, Chelsea entertain Aston Villa, Manchester United tussle with Everton, and Tottenham host Fulham. Now to cricketers, captain of the West Indies Craig Brathwaite says they'll be going for a win when they take on Bangladesh in the second test at Sabina Park starting tomorrow. The Caribbean side has not won a test series all year, and Brathwaite says they want to end the year on a high.
You can't ever take any test match for granted, any test series, saying that. And it's very important we end this year strong. Obviously next year we have a lot of test cricket to play as well. So yeah, very crucial for us Obviously, the first test is going as history. Got to come and start right back over as a bowling unit and a batting unit, but we look forward to it.
However, he warns that for the Windies to be victorious, they'll have to play their best in all three areas of the game.
Service has on a bit of grass, which is good to see. Obviously, a lot of moisture around, a lot of rain, so we gotta start fresh this game. Yeah, it's good to see. As I said, the covering of the grass on the surface. Any day that just the service, you gotta go there and bowl well, and obviously take the catches and bat well and put runs on the board. So we're looking forward to doing that.
Craig Brathwaite. On to gymnastics, as the inaugural Carifta Gymnastics Championships is now underway at the National Indoor Sports Centre. The two-day championships is set to end tomorrow. Host Jamaica has selected a 73-member team for the championships. They'll go up against teams from Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Aruba, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Bermuda and Bahamas. Jamaica's team manager Samantha Bell says there'll be something special for everyone.
Well, I can't let out all the surprises, but we definitely have a show in store for everyone. And Jamaicans are really big at supporting when we get to the global scene, when we're at the Olympics and when we're doing these huge things. But we want to remind you that this is where it starts. This is the level where it really starts. And a couple girls on the team right now, I spoke to you about last year when we competed at COPA, and they were just girls who had competed for their schools and made that all-star team. And now these all-star team gymnasts are now on the national team the next year. So we encourage all Jamaicans to please come out and support them. We have a lot in store for you, not just seeing the Jamaican athletes put on their individual events and win the 7,300 gold medals, but also we have a little, some performances and things that I can't tell you everything, but it's going to be lovely.
Gymnast Elisa Ennis has mixed feelings about competing.
I'm so excited but nervous at the same time, and I think I'm going to do well.
Elisa Ennis. Now on to horse racing, as the Supreme Court of Jamaica today ruled in favor of female jockey Samantha Fletcher in a case brought against the Jamaica Racing Commission. On March 7, 2023, Fletcher was punished for not riding her mount on merit. The incident happened on February 4 when Fletcher rode Gone on the Grill in the 7th race of the day, finishing in 7th place. Judge Anne-Marie Nemhard ruled that the 20 days suspension by the Racing Commission be quashed. She also ruled that the denial of Fletcher's appeal against the suspension by the Racing Commission be quashed. The court awarded costs against the Racing Commission. And finally in boxing, Sugar Wallace knockout boxing gym trainer Philippe Sanchez is promising an exciting evening of fighting at the Future Gloves Over Gun fight card at Stanley Couch Gym starting at 7 tomorrow. This will be the final edition for 2024. Sanchez says the initiative serves to strengthen amateur boxing locally.
If we do not start with the grassroots, we will never fortify the sport from its foundation. So that being said, the grassroots level has every school and every different coach that is in this Gloves Over Guns program, such as Jasmine, who you spoke to, Montego Bay, that has the Irwin High and Massachusetts High, is involved. So if they get a chance to showcase the youngest boxers that have their first opportunity ever to step in the ring, same as here in Kingston. So in Kingston, you have the schools in Trenchtown that are teaching in the community centers. You have the Klinkling Sugar Knockout Gym, that you also have the youth that go to that community gym that are, 14, 15, 16 and are training there. They get their first chance to go and showcase their skill on the big platform.
He says one of their goals is to get the young fighters to practice self-control.
A reason why us Jamaicans have so much talent and we don't get so far, because we're naturally very talented in sport, but we don't have the discipline sometimes. So the program is really based on ensuring that they're holistic persons. Not just, he can fight very good, but him rude and him unruly. Well, that is not a role model that we want to be given this opportunity, because these guys, just like when you spoke to Jasmine, these guys who she took over, which I met these young men, they are gentlemen. They give a very good image of Jamaica.
Philip Sanchez. I'm Alric Swaby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:18.
With Jamaica Automobile Association, membership is a win-win. Enter the JAA Fuel Up promotion and you could win the grand prize of JAA Gold membership for 1 year plus fuel valued at $240,000. Just purchase, renew or upgrade your JAA membership or use your individual JAA advance card to buy at least $10,000 of fuel a month. So, fuel up! There's also monthly prices of $20,000 in fuel. Enter now. JAA Fuel Up promotion ends December 13, 2024. Conditions apply.
You can have it all. Company events, birthday parties, or the wedding of your dreams. It's all possible at Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts. We have magnificent event rooms and a dedicated team that will make your event the best experience that only Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts can offer. Contact us at 876-619-0000 or call your favorite travel agency and ask about our promotion designed especially for you.
Are you ready? Join us on November 28th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean's Youth Day. Enjoy our Business Expo, get expert leadership advice, and explore diverse program offerings. Join a live panel discussion on youth leadership in the digital age and many more exciting presentations. You don't want to miss this. UCC's Youth Day, November 28th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. 17 Worthington Avenue, Kingston 5. For more information, visit ucc.edu.jm.
Calling all tradesmen, small contractors, skilled workmen, and small entrepreneurs. Whether you want to start or expand your business or get equipment for your projects, Total Tools will help you tool up and expand your business. Get up to $500,000 to borrow, up to 2 years to repay, and interest rates as low as 3.99%. Come for your loan to get your tools. Offer ends June 2025. Visit Total Tools in Kingston, Ocho Rios, and Drex Hall to get a loan for every tool and every trade.
KFC festive feast for the holidays. Full of power with my friends and my family. KFC bucket of the flavor. Something for everybody, time for we celebrate. 12 piece of chicken so delicious. Fries, biscuits, coleslaw, mashed potatoes, and the Pepsi. Crunch the holiday with KFC. It's the festive feast for you and
Crunch the holidays with the KFC festive feast. 12 pieces of delicious chicken, sides, and a 2-liter Pepsi. Try our new KFC dessert biscuits. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special good evening to our YouTubers. Thank you so much for joining. It's a Friday evening. Oh my God, it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Yeah, thank God it is Friday. It's the end of another work week and almost the end of another month. Yeah? Wow. We're almost at the end of the year. Oh boy, and this is the time that you reflect and you think about the year that we've had and the year that you want to have come next year. But yes, it's Public Opinion. It's been a wet couple of days, more like months. Yeah, and the forecast is for more rain. We will experience cloudy conditions for the mornings. That's the 3-day forecast that Met has provided us with. Saturday, we're going to have afternoon showers. Sunday, we're going to have isolated afternoon showers. Monday, again, isolated afternoon showers. So, we're going to get more rain. The question we're putting to you in public opinion this evening, we're asking, oh, uno and the weather, oh, no do, oh, the weather a treat to know. That's what we're asking for. Or Friday edition of Public Opinion. I'm going to go to our Facebook platform where Philip Jackson, who is not in Jamaica, Philip is saying he's in Georgia today in a place called, oh, you pronounce that one, yeah. Kennesaw? Okay. It's not too cold. But global warming is a big part of the mixture of these uncertain weather all over the world. Philip Jackson, I get it right? Fabian Smith is saying it's okay and he's bigging up Hawkeye. All right. Cleveland Richard says trying to deal with it. Can't complain too much even though it's holding up some of my construction work. Can imagine. Jad Doyley is saying freezing cold, about 30 degrees in Philadelphia. 30 degrees? Maureen McLeod is saying, I've been enjoying the showers as my plants are smiling, but I welcome a break now. The cool temperatures are really nice, especially at nights. I definitely can relate to that one. Shins for Life Law is saying, rain is falling, the weather is sweet. And I would have somebody in the newsroom always I say, rain can't do nothing else but fall. Yeah? Audrey Allen is saying, me loving it. I'm enjoying the break from the heat. And my. We had some some very hot days we had, prior to the rainy season. And we in the summer thereabout, it was a little, the days were hot. But now we're getting rain. Pauline Christie is saying, very wet and cool in Portmore. Yeah, very wet and cool in Portmore. Eunice Anderson is saying, me get wet up and soaked today, but otherwise I'm good. Also, not too long finish my washing. Then, you for the washing a rain. You for the washing a rain, Anderson, unless you have like an inside line or maybe you're up there and you have a dryer, can dry your clothes. Maybe, I'm just saying, maybe. But nobody ever get wet up, like soaked from head to toe in the rain? Are the wickedest thing when you put on your clothes and step through the door. You have the umbrella, but the umbrella not so much. It can't shield you that much. So you get wet from head to toe. That ever happened to any of our YouTubers? Any of the YouTubers? When you ever get wet from head to toe? Rain? Yeah? On our X platform, let me see if I can get a few in from our X platform. We're asking you, it's been a wet couple of days. Wet couple of months. We're asking how you and the weather. Andre Lawrence is saying he's in Netherlands. To be exact, it's okay. Yeah? And Lori Lee Shung is saying it's overcast. I don't know if I don't know you're in Jamaica. I don't know if uno see sun I don't know if which parish see sun today, but we not see none. Me never see no sun. I don't see no sun today any at all. It's been overcast from morning. Yeah. On our Instagram platform, Facey Michael is saying he thinks that we can do well with some sunshine now. I agree. The potholes are covered and we can't see them. I think we can use some sunshine. Yeah. And speaking of potholes, Supreme Vegan Master is saying that the question we should be asking, how's the potholes? That's the question we should be asking, coming from Supreme Vegan Master. Yeah? Let me see if I can. Oh, Iron Lady is helping me out. Is Kennesaw. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. You see? We learn from each other, don't we? Thank you so much. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Killian Henry on YouTube is saying it's super cold here in New Jersey. Looking forward to the snow. Killian, send some of the snow over here, no? You know, be generous this Christmas season. Send some of the snow come to Jamaica. Yeah? Everton is saying, let me see if I can get that one. Everton is saying, my mother always tell me, say, I must make a line or two in my room. Don't it? Especially if you have a veranda and the veranda can accommodate a line. So, you know, in the rainy season or when rain fall, you still have to wash your clothes them. So you have the line on the veranda and you put out your clothes them. You wash, whether it be with your hand or you up there and have a washing machine. Yeah? And you put out the clothes on the veranda and them dry same way, no? Yeah. Wilbert Davis is saying too much rain now, but then again, an impending drought is not a good prospect either. Some people say when rain a fall, we complain. When sun a shine, we complain. The only thing sun can do is hot, and the only thing rain can do is fall. Janesta is saying she got soaked from head to toe when she was going to school. Going school, I get wet going home. Yeah? Going to school, I get wet going home. Me not tell no lie, me get wet already. Me get from head to toe, soaked by rain, head to toe. Yeah? Ursuline Bowen is saying, talking about my shoes dropped in a pothole. If snow and have to walk a distance in the icy cold. Oh, still have to go to work though. My. Frostbites, my, Ursuline Bowen. Wow. Well, I know the rain. Some of the farmers are happy for the rain. Some not so much because waterlogged fields and everything. Kirk Allen says, we'll never complain about the rain. We just need better drainage and better management of the roads. Yeah? Let me see if I can get in some more. Beverly Samuda, loving it. Loving the rain. Fan no too turn on. AC no run. Light bill chop. What can go so? Asking Beverly Samuda. Beverly Samuda is asking what can go so. So you benefit from the rain falling. You have to turn on the fan and you have to turn on the AC. Would you look at that? Let me see if I can get in a few more. Let me see. I'm scrolling to see if I can get in a few more. I saw something just now. JK Engineering and Architecture is saying super cold in Norristown, Pennsylvania, about 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine Canada and them place there. Supposed to well cool. Frank White said, I want wash my dirty clothes them. That's why I say make a line on the veranda, Frank, or in the little whether it is you have a porch or something. You have to make a line. You have to turn your hand make fashion according to my grandmother. Tam in the UK is saying storm, rain, cold like you defrost your fridge, heating on to keep warm, aware thermal and some sunshine in the day. Okay, so you're saying it's a mixture, yeah? It's a mixture of cold. It's a mixture of cold like you defrost, like how you defrost your fridge. Wow, that must very well cool, eh? Strong Link is questioning what worse, flood rains or drought? Wow. That's one to answer. What is worse? Rajav is saying it's negative 14 degrees in Edmonton, Canada. Wow. Iron Lady, the question we're asking, how the weather treat, how you on the weather? That's what we're asking. How you on the weather? We're forecast to get more rain. People say more rain, more rest, but I know that's what it mean, but when it rains, it pours. They also say that. For me, I like this wet weather. I like it. But I would prefer to be home, like I know many of us who are at work anticipating the end of the day, especially when it's raining. We want to go home. Yeah? We look forward to the end of the day. Tam is saying no snow unless you're in Scotland, but the place cold. All right. Well, guys, brace yourselves in the next week. The forecast is for thunderstorm showers. According to Met, we'll be having isolated thunderstorms over the next 3 days in the afternoon, mostly cloudy conditions in the morning. So brace yourselves here in Jamaica. Cindy Lynch is saying Florida weather is just right. Yeah. Iron Lady said then no pure rain in a Jamaica. A pure rain in a Jamaica keep right now. What can go so? Somebody ask. Guys, thank you so much for participating in Public Opinion. It's a Friday evening. If you're going on the road, be safe. Yeah? Enjoy the weekend. Do stay tuned. Up next, the Business Report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited. industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:33. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Jamaica's unemployment rate is at a record low of 3.6% as of July 2024, and that's according to the latest information provided by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. This is lower than the rate recorded at the end of April of 4.2%, and this is the third survey conducted under Statin's new model. It's therefore not comparable to data recorded prior to 2024. However, for context, under the old model, Jamaica's unemployment rate hit its lowest point at 4.2% in October 2023. According to Statin, in July 2024, the total number of unemployed individuals was 52,600. The Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, says Caribbean countries will receive $18.4 billion in remittances, with a 2% growth similar to that observed in 2023. The IDB is projecting that remittances to countries in Latin America and the Caribbean will reach a historic high in 2024, despite growing at their slowest pace in 10 years. In a new report, the IDB said that remittances are returning to levels of increase prior to the exceptional growth they showed during the COVID-19 pandemic. It said if the trend continues, the region will receive $161 billion in remittances in 2024. That's a 5% increase compared to 2023. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 26 cents to buy $1, 201 Jamaican dollars and 92 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 113 Jamaican dollars and 39 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend.
IQ Optical's Black Friday frame sale is back. Get your trendy optical frame or a frame for every occasion. Come and enjoy 50% off frames in stock. Book your appointment or take your prescription to IQ Optical New Kingston, Meadow Park or Draxall.
You hear the news? AM Financial give them customers cash back for the Christmas. Cash back! You can get up to $15,000 with every loan disbursed. True. Plus, them increase them loan amount so you can get anything you want. And with every loan, you get a free gift. Free! Apply now at loansale.aimfinancialja.com or WhatsApp 876-437-3982. Make sure you apply early. Promotion ends January 31st. Conditions apply.
For the Fosridge Christmas in November sale. Shop from November 24 to December 5 and save on chandeliers, wall lamps, ceiling fans, and LED bulbs. It's cold outside, so ask about our solar water heaters. It's the Fosridge Christmas in November sale. November 24 to December 5. It's a Fosridge.
New fast food always tastes to savor. Giving you the best, giving you the flavor. Nice enough the kitchens all across Jamaica. Happy smile when they see the price you pay for. Corned beef and the sausage.
New pack.
Ketchup and the pepper sauce.
New pack.
Beans and the baked beans.
New pack.
Rice.
New pack.
Oil.
New pack.
New pack foods always taste to savor. Giving you the best, giving you the flavor. Nice enough the kitchens all across Jamaica. Happy smile when they see the price you pay for. New pack, more than just value.
None of mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Exciting news! The design studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the design studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Make me sweat, make me harder.
Looking to rent a fully operational production studio? Then Nationwide 90 FM has got you covered. We have flexible options to meet your recording needs any day of the week. Monday to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays available upon request. Bookings must be made in advance. Call us today at 630-1210. Let us help you reach your production desires.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM.
Is that really Clip News talking?
Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Was Clip News really talking like that?
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's Talk Justice every Mondays from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Good evening, listeners and viewers. It's 6:43, and you're in the Nation's Business. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Top of the evening to you, listeners and viewers on YouTube. I'm Tyrone Reed.
Good to see you again, Tyrone.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
So, listeners, as we told you earlier today, we have before us the agreement signed between Tradewinds Citrus, yes, Tradewinds Citrus Limited and NEPA over that contamination of the Rio Cobra. And we have with us, joining us at least, is the attorney representing a group that is suing Tradewinds Citrus over that oil spill. That's Friends of the Rio Cobra, Dr. Marcus Goff. We'll have him in 5 minutes, but we also have with us the president of Friends of Rio Cobra, vice chairman of the St. Catherine Parish Development Committee, Kestenard Gordon. Good afternoon, Mr. Gordon. You're there?
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Gordon.
Good afternoon to your listeners.
So I'm going to the NDA agreement between Tradewinds and the NEPA, and there are few clauses that stand out to me, Mr. Gordon, and I'm going to get right to them. The first one is that NRCA hereby releases and discharges Tradewinds Citrus Limited, its insurers, agents, assigns, licensees, and sub-licensees from all liability, proceedings, claims, demands, suits, and actions whatsoever, whether related directly or indirectly to the subject matter of the court proceedings, which NRCA now has or at any time may have, whether such claims are or could be known to the parties or be in their contemplation at the date of the settlement agreement. But for the execution of this settlement agreement, NRCA could or may have had against TWCL, their insurers, agents, assigns, licensees, and sub-licensees. It also goes on to say that the NRCA hereby agrees and covenants with TWCL that it will not at any time hereafter take or bring any action or proceedings or make any claim or demand whatsoever against TWCL, its insurance agents, assignees, affiliates, licensees, and or sub-licensees arising directly or indirectly out of or relating to the subject matter of the court proceedings. And it also allows the TWCL to claim no admission of liability. It is understood and agreed by the parties that this settlement agreement is a compromise of the court proceedings and is not to be construed as an admission of liability or of any facts that could give rise to liability on the part of any of the parties by whom liability is expressly denied. Does that not complicate the lawsuit that the Friends of the Rio Cobra has brought against Tradewinds Limited?
No, because that is unlawful.
Oh,
that agreement is unlawful. It's like you enter into a contract to sell a man an illegal gun. That contract is not binding. NEPA has no such right as a state agency to enter into any such thing with a private company, even especially without the input and assistance and guidance of the Attorney General. That doesn't make sense. In other jurisdictions, all of those persons who participate in that would have gone to prison. It is almost treason. How can you sell out the state like that to a private company? That is madness.
No, I should note that the court itself did not see this document because it was subject to an NDA, and the court simply voiced its suggestion that the two entities, that being NEPA and TWCL, have the right to mediate. So this document that actually outlines the terms of that mediation and the dismissal of liability, so to speak, on the part of Tradewinds was not seen by the judge during the proceedings.
Well, firstly, the court did not order a mediation. the court never ordered any mediation. So the matter is before the court, and the accused has already pleaded not guilty. The next step is trial. So these attorneys who are being pushed by those who employ them should know the law. What they did, those attorneys, they did several things that were unethical and contrary to the principles of natural justice as they would have been taught in law school and emphasized by the Jamaica Legal Council. What they did was just messed up.
Sir, that's a strong charge you're making there.
We're up on the break, gentlemen.
They've done things that are unethical and contrary to the legal canon.
Exactly.
Is this what the GLC is what you're saying?
What they did was contrary.
No, I'm just trying to be clear as to what you said earlier, and I'm not really asking you to repeat it because that's a matter for the GLC to decide, and they have not decided any such thing.
We're up on the break, gentlemen, but I would like to come back because the minister also spoke to the organization Friends of the Rio Cobra, questioning its legitimacy, and I would love to have you respond to that, Mr. Gordon. But right after these messages.
Payroll made simple and secure. Get automated with BizPay, an integrated payroll and HR solution powered by MC Systems. Contact them today. The time by MC Systems is
6:49.
Total Tools is having a Black Friday sale weekend! Sale! Up to 50% off select items, major discounts on tools, accessories, lighting, and electrical supplies. All Black Friday weekend long, Thursday, November 28 to Saturday, November 30. Move fast, only while stocks last. Visit Total Tools Kingston, Ocho Rios, or Drax Hall. Total Tools, we've got you totally covered.
Life is precious. Whether you're driving through the hills in the country, the town, or on the highway, remember, slow down and take it easy. Your family and friends are depending on you to get home safe. Speeding may save you minutes, but careful driving saves lives. Since the beginning of this year, 288 people have been killed in 247 crashes, so drive safe.
Brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The countdown has begun! Get ready to run, walk and wheel for the fun, and prepare to donate for a cause. Sagicor Sigma Run. Save the date. Sagicor Sigma Run, February 16, 2025.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
The other issue that I'd like to bring to the table is the legitimacy of Friends of Rio Cobra, whatever the name is. If you revert to the chronology shown when they went to court and these persons tried to stake claim, we could not find registration for this organization on the friendly societies. There's no legitimacy in representation of persons they claim to be affected. That legitimacy would come from a member of parliament, a councillor, a fisherman's corps, or in this case, because it is fisherfolk who would be primarily affected, the National Fisheries Authority. But there was not a fish kill, and none of their legitimate representatives of those people came forward to say there was disruption. Hence the challenge. So it's unfortunate that JET has taken this route, but the people who legitimately represent those who could have been affected but weren't in this case did not come forward with those challenges.
So that is Minister with responsibility for the environment, Matthew Samuda, speaking to what he believes to be the illegitimacy of Friends of the Rio Cobra, and attorney representing the Friends of the Rio Cobra group, Dr. Marcus Goff. What do you make of that assessment? And I would also like to hear you to give you an opportunity to chime in as well, the president of Friends of the Rio Cobra, Kestenard Gordon. But to you first, Dr. Goff, you're the legal mind here.
That statement is very unfortunate by the minister. To cast doubt and to say that the Friends of the Rio Cobra is not legitimate and not only somehow the MP or official one cooperative is legitimate representing other people is, I think, a disrespect. The fact is that any individual, right, can represent himself or herself as a victim of environmental crime. Any group of persons can choose to organize themselves how they want to organize themselves, whether they choose to register or not. But the fact is that Friends of the Rio Cobra is a legal liability company, and the company's Office of Jamaica duly registered, and all the official folk who we claimed for are registered. The claim was sent to Trade Wind Teachers Company Limited, which was what we were told to do by NEPA, and so it wasn't sent to the ministry because NEPA said to send it straight to True Troops.
And you, Mr. Gordon, the legitimacy of your organization is being called into question.
I am sorry for the minister. Egg is all over his face, and he is trying his best to wipe it out of his eyes. But he need not wipe any on Friends of Rio Cobra. We are a legitimate registered company, a limited liability company, and on the other hand, as the attorney stated, that is irrelevant. Every citizen of Jamaica has a right for compensation if they have been victims of pollution, right? So it needs to come clear again. I think and one thing should also be done is that the minister himself should resign, because I don't think the chairman, in a message in the Gleaner, the chairman said he didn't know anything about it, right? So who did it? This is what the minister need to do: point out who did it and deal with them.
But before we get to that, Mr. Gordon, the question then, though, I have to ask you is, who does Friends of the Rio Cobra represent in this matter of the contamination of the river?
Friends of Rio Cobra represent approximately 1,500 persons divided into different categories. Firstly, you have the fisher folk, right, who are directly affected when the river is polluted. And then you have those whose constitutional rights were breached by virtue of their being unable to access water, by virtue of the air pollution, by virtue of the smell of the river whenever the fishes are rotting when they pollute it. All those are breaches of the constitutional rights. So all of those persons, within reasonable time, will submit claims for compensation depending on which company is involved.
So let me ask you this, gentlemen. Which one of those groups do you fall in, Mr. Gordon? Before I bring in Dr. Goff, which one of those groups do you fall in?
I am. Firstly, I am not a fisherman, and I reside in Spanish Town, and I have business in the area where the pollution occurs. So I am not a beneficiary. I've not submitted any claims for myself. What I do is advocate on their behalf, if that is the question you want to.
So why wasn't somebody directly impacted, elected the president? How are you the president of the Friends of Rio Cobra, and you're not directly impacted, meaning being a fisher folk?
Every single citizen in Spanish Town, every single citizen in Portmore, and sections of the corporate area is affected by the pollution, sir.
All right. Dr. Goff, let me bring you back in here. I know you've been around the block, Dr. Goff, familiar with your work as well as an advocate. But why not just form a legally binding association to represent the individuals who are so affected?
Sir, Friends of the Rio Cobra is legally registered representing the fisher folk here. What's the issue?
It is.
I don't understand.
So the ministers claim that it is not legally, it has no legal standing is incorrect.
I just said Friends of the Rio Cobra is registered at the Company Office of Jamaica as a legal limited liability company guaranteed by it's limited by a guarantee. So I'm saying that is done. That's a red herring. A red herring is throwing in the Rio Cobra now.
But the question then, this is a company that is suing another company essentially. It's not exactly what one would essentially call a class action suit, where you're bringing that suit on behalf of multiple claimants who might have suffered as a result of what you view to be that contamination of the Rio Cobra. It would seem that had or if a settlement is settled, the company would get that money, not necessarily the class of people.
So the company is formed to serve the benefit of its members. That's how all companies work. They serve the interest of their members.
And those members, do you have a list of membership as in terms of these individuals?
Yes, sir. We sent a claim to Tradewin for 150 plus registered fisher folk who paid their registration as fees at Fishing Association. The government taxes they pay, they're registered. The claim went to the true juice for those registered fisher folk, sir.
Okay, understood.
Before we move from there, Siobhan, Dr. Goff, I'd love to continue there because I heard the minister characterizing the spill as basically, in my words, he was downplaying the extent of the spill, and it doesn't seem to be consistent with nationwide reporting. And I would have loved to have been able to speak with one of the fisher folk who would have been affected there. But since the Friends of Rio Cobra represents those individuals, let me ask you, Dr. Goff, and of course, Mr. Gordon, I'd love to hear your take on this as well, because nationwide reporting was that the December 2023 oil spill devastated fishing communities in St. Catherine. But he's saying it doesn't appear more than 30 fish were killed. Is the minister downplaying the effects of the spill back in December 2023, Dr. Goff, based on what you have gathered from the fisher folk?
Very much so, and he's displaying also his ignorance when it comes to environmental matters, because the environment is not about the fish alone. So they say that there's no fish kill, so there's no environmental damage. It's utter ignorance. The environment consists of wildlife, including plants, all the animals, and of course, humans as well, right? So how can he say there's no fish killed, so therefore it's a minor crime? He's totally misguided.
We're up on another break, gentlemen, but I would like you to come back, because looking at the chronology of events, and this is the only part of the document which I see that relates to this potential scale of the contamination, where it says an inspection found that oil originated from the boiler house at Jamaica Beverages Limited, operated by Tradewin Citrus Limited Dairy. A few dead and dying shrimp were seen along the Rio Cobra banks downstream of impacted drain, and a site warning notice number 017326 was served. Status of cleanup, oil contaminant booms were installed across the Rio Cobra. And that's the only part of this document I see where the potential scale of that damage was documented in the chronology of events here, but I will put that to you after the break.
GK1 now introduces third-party motor insurance from GK General Insurance. Download and log into the GK1 app, then select one of 3 affordable third-party options. The time by GK General Insurance is
7:01. Welcome back, listeners and viewers, as we touch on this matter of the contamination of the Rio Cobra by Tradewin Citrus Limited and NEPA's management of the situation. As I said, we're looking now at the chronology of events, and as I said, on December 13, the NEPA's assessment of the situation suggests, as they say, a few dead and dying shrimp were seen along the Rio Cobra banks downstream of impacted drain. And just a few days later, on December 15, it says no further impact on wildlife observed. and status of oil discharge cleanup was ceased. So if looking at what I see here, it would suggest to me that NEPA is suggesting that there was very limited impact on in the fisheries based on that oil spill, and
Can I
you
answer that
see
question?
otherwise.
Can I answer that question?
Go ahead.
I was getting reports, pictures from the Thursday, and I visited the area Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. All of those days, sir, oil was running on the Rio Cobra River. During that time, the fisher folk could not access the river. Nobody could access the river, so I have to continue pursuing this line of questioning. Nobody bathes in oil, nobody fishes in oil. Oh, you expect the community people to go and dive off in the river to go and fish in this oil really running on the river for so many days? It was a sting operation that involved a number of agencies, multi-agency approach, including the police and members of several media who converge on the property to film the pools of oil. So when the minister is saying that it was quickly contained within the property of Chojos, that is nonsense. That is a gross lie. It was running for 7 days on the river. You understand? And so the minister, the question that you posed to Marcus a while ago, and Marcus said that the minister is ignorant of environmental affairs. I would say that the minister is a total dope of environmental affairs. He needs to come to the community, to interact with the community, to understand as a minister what the community is going through. Up until with all of these pollution, sir, the Minister of Health has never been there. That man, this current minister who is talking now, he came there once, which was sometime I think in 2019. You understand? None of these people don't visit to talk with and interact with the community to see what they're going through. The public health department at Spanish Town is absent from the community to understand what the people are going through. You understand?
This is a case of revisionist history. The minister is trying to rewrite the history of what happened.
Well, this chronology of events wasn't provided by the minister. No, this was provided by NEPA.
No, I'm talking about the minister's own remarks because he is. It would be fair to say he's attempting to downplay the extent of this spill.
Well,
because
further to that, we
invited with what we reported.
We invited CEO of the National Fisheries Authority, Gavin Bellamy. He would be able to speak more readily to the scale of the impact, but unfortunately, he is unavailable due to, I believe, he's at the doctor's, so he would not be able to join us this evening. We will definitely invite him another day. But looking at the document, I see multiple times after December 14 where they assessed the situation and they came back to the same answer. No further impact on wildlife observed, even though cleanup operations continue to take place.
So why did they decide to go to court and to prosecute Dr. Goff? It sounds terribly inconsistent to me, Dr. Goff.
Yes, again, right? Before you choose to prosecute, normally you collect evidence, right? Collect statements from witnesses and so forth. You do a test and all of that, and you gather to ascertain whether you have a good enough case that is worthy of bringing to the criminal court. So all that should have been done by a properly functioning environmental regulator. So the question to be asked are, did they test the soil in Rio Cobra to see how the oil has impacted it? Did they test the wildlife, the shrubberies, the amoeba, the other animals that are there in the vicinity of where the spill was? Did they speak to the residents to understand how they have been impacted? 7 continuous days of oil on our river must impact the livelihood, the health, and the safety of all who live along that waterway. So how can even NEPA come to that conclusion if all those tests were not done? That's what we should be asking them.
Right, and I quite frankly, I'm having difficulties accepting what the minister's characterization of it at this stage of the game, seeing they decided to proceed with prosecution, a criminal prosecution, and then we're being told it's tantamount to, not much really. It's not significant in terms of what happened. But let me ask you this, Dr. Goff. The chairman of the board has tendered his resignation over this matter. Do you think that is sufficient?
No, sir. No, sir. We see it all too often where it's like you select one person to say he's going to be the sacrificial lamb to cover up the rest of inadequacies and shortcomings and failures that they have done to the people. So for us, we need a total review of the processes by which NEPA decides who to prosecute and when. We want transparency around all previous mediation agreements that we have been told, it seems, have been done in the past by NEPA under a clothing of confidentiality, and we want, as I say, to have NEPA use its powers of prosecution.
Well, I want to put
what say you, Mr. Gordon? Sorry, Siobhan, sorry about that. What say you, Mr. Gordon? Is it sufficient that the chairman has tendered his resignation? Is that, in your mind, sufficient?
No, sir. They have not even started yet. Mr. Leslie Campbell needs to be removed from NEPA. Mr. Leslie Campbell is the chairman in charge of a subcommittee of the board, which is called Legal, Environment, and...
Legal and Enforcement, Public Relation and Marketing Committee?
Exactly. He's the one, basically, who is senior at NEPA, providing instructions to the already existed legal department at NEPA. And it is sad, given the historical connection and association of Mr. Leslie Campbell with the CEO of Tradewin, is a massive compromise. The Prime Minister should remove Mr. Leslie Campbell.
Well, I have to just state for the matter of compliance that I don't know what that relationship is and how truthful, if such a relationship exists.
All right.
Mr. Gordon.
Thanks for the disclaimer. NEPA, the fear that NEPA got to prosecute Windalco should also immediately be withdrawn. And this is because the same set of attorney that Windalco uses to prosecute and to delay and to frustrate the course of justice in the 3 criminal charges that Windalco faces is the same set of attorney that Tradewin used, who is privy to the negotiations, the terms of and contract and of this arrangement. So NEPA should be completely excused from any fiat. The name NEPA should be written off the map. The entire board should go
I think you're going a bit too far there.
Because, I mean, once again,
Sharon, if I could just squeeze this one in before we leave this particular matter. Gentlemen, I'm not asking either of you. This is not an attempt to lure you into making injudicious remarks. But having gone through this agreement, beginning with you, Dr. Goff, I'm not so certain why NEPA would have seen the need to go into signing an NDA. There doesn't seem to be anything extraordinary here. And I'm beginning to wonder and just thinking out loud here, are we seeing everything that is supposedly in this document that was signed? Because what in this document would require an NDA?
Well, several things I see which I think they would not want the public to see. First, it says that trade winds agree to take all reasonable steps to maintain and expand the environmental practices, right? And so forth, so forth. In consideration of that, NEPA agreed to withdraw all prosecution. That's how it goes. There's no monetary payment, right? There's no apology. There's no concrete actions for them to take to prevent reoccurrence. There's no, of course, compensation that is proposed for the victim.
Dr. Goff, according to the minister, and I would like you to respond to that, he believes that what Tradewinds would have paid in terms of the cleanup and other operations far outweighed any potential claim that they could have brought against the company in court.
No, sir. Nobody can preclude to know what would have been the outcome of a properly negotiated restorative justice agreement. Nobody can know that, including the minister.
But we're seeking a charge. We're seeking to have them criminally prosecuted for a charge, which is a breach of the Wildlife Protection Act, and the maximum penalty of that would have been $100,000. So
Yes,
in the weight of things, the minister said that, well, if they're going to pay X amount, well in excess of $100,000, why would we seek further legal recourse for $100,000?
Sir, that is not the only law which is applicable. Right? There are many laws which allow for other additional types of sentencing to be imposed on the company. So you can't look on one law alone. Right? And I'm saying that the Criminal Justice Reform Act speaks to restorative justice to ensure that victims and their harm are properly repaired and that there are institutional actions in place to prevent reoccurrence from a community perspective.
Well,
right?
I don't claim to be a lawyer, sir, but I mean, under this chronology of events, the only charge brought by NEPA, and as a result, the only charge that the court could actually be pursuing was a breach of Section 11 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So I don't know if anything additional beyond that could have been assessed by the court based on what I'm reading here.
Yes, sir. Have you read the Criminal Justice Reform Act? Because I'm telling you what it says. It says that, again, in matters of this nature, including you can have a restorative justice process that allows for creative sentencing, sir, beyond just a pecuniary fine being imposed. But this is what we have been sacrificed because, again, we were locked out of the whole process. And so the court, or not the court, the prosecution is looking at it from only perspective of the financial penalty. No, environmental crimes deserve a broader, more contemporary, comprehensive, multidisciplinary response that goes beyond just fines being paid.
Okay, but I would like
should what they pay for the cleanup have been included in this document, the Dr. Goff? Is that how these things are to work?
Well, I think that there should have been some sum of money there that shows what is the penalty, because how can we, the public, assess this as being a suitable institution of justice if we don't know what has been done towards the whole situation being repaired? We don't know. We don't know. And certainly, again, they have ignored the hundreds of victims who made themselves known, who wrote to them, who identified themselves and saying we must be a part of any sort of solution, because to ignore us and our rights is to undermine and sell out us and our rights.
Well, we're coming to the end of time, but I still have two things to put to you, Dr. Goff. The first one is essentially a confirmation of what I previously was told by a source, that NEPA did seek a response from the DPP as to whether they should put in a null prosequi, and they said the DPP's office indicated the matter was reassigned and a response to be sent soon. But the next day, they simply signed the mediation agreement anyway, and then the matter was withdrawn. They did not wait for the DPP's office to provide any form of legal opinion on this matter. What do you make of that?
Again, I'm saying this is a sacrificing of justice. The Constitution says that the DPP is the supreme authority in terms of instituting and discontinuing criminal prosecution. So how can you, who have gotten their permission to prosecute, go behind their back, right, without their consent and approval, and withdraw serious public interest criminal charges? NEPA is out of order.
Okay, and then just finally, I put it to you, Mr. Gordon. You're the president of Friends of the Rio Cobra. Considering the nature of this agreement between NEPA and Tradeswind Solution, which includes a clause, let me go back to that clause specifically, which I find very interesting, is that the parties each warrant and represent that they will not bring or assist in any legal action against each other arising directly or indirectly out of or relating to the subject matter of the court proceedings whatsoever, which means if you continue to pursue this matter against Tradewinds, NEPA will not provide you with any support on it. Will you still be proceeding?
That agreement is sacrilegious. It's a betrayal of the Jamaican people. Those persons, both parties should be sent to prison. There must be some law that those parties should be sent to prison. And I am quite convinced that in some jurisdictions, any organization that sells out the state like that will be shot.
I think you're taking this a little further than you need. I would like you to withdraw that last comment.
Oh, Mr. Gordon, please control yourself, sir.
On the community, you would.
No, Mr. Gordon, I would like you to withdraw that comment before you continue, please. You cannot threaten that kind of violence against someone on a program. I would like you to withdraw that comment.
Well, in other jurisdictions, the matter will be dealt with more severely.
No, sir, you should withdraw the comment.
The comment itself. You can cut me off the program. I'm not going to withdraw.
No, we're not cutting you off. We are being reasonable with you, and we're saying you should withdraw the comment.
No, I am not going to require. These people are unjust. They are cruel. They are wicked to the community. They are murderers.
And so you resort to saying they should be shot?
I am saying that in other jurisdictions they would be.
Mr. Gordon, Mr. Goff, Dr. Goff, I'm hoping you let good sense prevail and assist us in having Mr. Gordon withdraw that remark.
And is not my role
as his legal representative?
No, sir. Freedom of expression must reign.
Well, gentlemen, I have to say that Nationwide does not associate ourselves with those comments, and in the interest of reasonableness, I'm going to end this conversation here, and I thank you both for your time. That is the attorney representing Friends of the Rio Cobra, Dr. Marcus Goff, and President of the Friends of Rio Cobra and Vice Chairman of the St. Catherine Parish Development Committee, Kestenard Gordon. I appreciate your time with us. Have a good evening.
Nation's Business was brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The time by the 1JN Passport app is
7:19, and listeners, it's time for your calls. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255. Come chat with us.
The countdown has begun! Get ready to run, walk and wheel for the fun, and prepare to donate for a cause. Sagicor Sigma Run. Save the date. Sagicor Sigma Run, February 16, 2025.
Happy holidays from Team Adam and Eve. We invite you to indulge in a relaxing spa atmosphere or gift someone spa pampering this season. Visit us at www.adamandevedayspajA.com for e-certificates or WhatsApp 876-567-2142. Relax, refresh, and respite with us today. We have Christmas packages starting at $8,500. Book a massage, facial, mani-pedi, or hair service at Adam and Eve Day Spa. You deserve it.
It's for the Fossridge Christmas in November sale. Shop from November 24 to December 5 and save on chandeliers, wall lamps, ceiling fans, and LED bulbs. It's cold outside, so ask about our solar water heaters. It's the Fossridge Christmas in November sale. November 24 to December 5. It's a Fossridge.
Are you ready? Join us on November 28th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean's Youth Day. Enjoy our Business Expo, get expert leadership advice, and explore diverse program offerings. Join a live panel discussion on youth leadership in the digital age and many more exciting presentations. You don't want to miss this. UCC's Youth Day, November 28th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. 17 Worthington Avenue, Kingston 5. For more information, visit ucc.edu.jm.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Total Tools is having a Black Friday sale weekend! Sale, sale, sale! Up to 50% off select items. Major discounts on tools, accessories, lighting, and electrical supplies. All Black Friday weekend long. Thursday, November 28 to Saturday, November 30. Move fast. Only while stocks last. Visit Total Tools Kingston, Ocho Rios, or Drax Hall. Total Tools. We've got you totally covered.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. Before we go to the first caller, just to say again that Nationwide News disassociates itself with any comments made that were violent or threatening toward any member of the public from either Mr. Goff or Mr. Gordon in relation to the NEPA issue. While views must contend, they must contend in a respectable, meaningful, and I would like to say just sensible way, and there's some lines you don't cross, and as a result I was forced to terminate that interview because Mr. Gordon would not apologize and he would not withdraw.
Did he say freedom of expression should reign? I had to go back and listen. Is that what he said?
I believe that is what he said, but as I said, Nationwide News disassociates herself with those claims or comments made by Mr. Gordon, essentially calling for violence against the minister and the representatives of NEPA and the government. But we press on.
I tell you.
We press on. Damien, you have the first call. Good evening.
Yes, good night, Siobhan and Mr. Bangaman, a.k.a. Tyrone. Yeah, Tyrone. I called today and I didn't get to wrap up the point, so about what was going on. But pertaining to that gentleman who just spoke about that violence, are these guys a learned person?
Dr. Goff is an attorney, and Mr. Gordon, he says he's the vice chairman of the St. Catherine Parish Development Committee. They're both very educated, learned gentlemen.
It's a worthy cause, but my gosh. Whoa, I wonder why the country is so violent. But anyway, so Tyrone, I was talking about today, about the various prime ministers and their role and their love for country. You understand me? And while we can appreciate it, but I'm talking about this time now of the politics now, and the Mark Golding style versus the Andrew Holness style. You understand me? The reason why, because I always crown myself as a conservative, and the reason why I would lean towards the labor right, you understand me, is that their policies. You understand me? If you take the PNP policy or a labor right policy and implement it in your home, I guarantee underneath the PNP policy, you will be a pauper and owe a lot of debt. But if you take the conservative structure, which I'm concerned right now, because the labor right, all they're doing is talking about giving away. And I'm not against giving away. You understand me? I think that if you're giving away, tie it with something. You understand me? Like, I always, my point is part. When you give a parent, subsidies for their children, and then they keep on having more and more children. You understand me? And when, the state have to take on these responsibilities, the parents, why part can't say, what, let's make a sacrifice and add the parents, put them into an institution like, something with skill or to give them some education, and then you can graduate them, and then they can take care of the rest of the children, and then the money will be there to fix other things in the country. Those are policies that I want, politicians to take on.
I've said this before, I see why PATH exists. It's to remove generational poverty. But what I don't like is to see that it seems that every generation on that PATH program remains on PATH. Then it seems the PATH program is not fulfilling its mandate.
I'm not so certain it is designed to eradicate generational poverty. I think it's a social safety net. That's what it is, to assist.
No, but that's what is listed on PATH's website.
Those doesn't work. This is
Well,
why those things doesn't
based on the
work.
amounts given me
And
on
the
part, I'm
United
not
States
certain
have tried it.
that is feasible.
Yeah, but I was saying these are the things why it does not work. Because first world countries have tried it, and you know what it does? It breeds like, garrisons. When, in the States, you will have their grandmother keep on getting social security, and their children, and they live in one house, and it's just like a factory just keep repeating, making manufacturers of children, and they caught up in the violence same way, and it's just a turnover. But I believe that it's needed because you really have some people who go below, the safety net, and they have to be assisted. But if you could just peer them and say, listen, if it's going to take 3 years for you to finish art institution, we're going to get you in art, we're going to pay for your child to go to school and give them the free lunch, but on the end of 3 years, you're going to graduate, we're going to give you a job, and maybe you have 6 children, but your salary can take about 3 or 4, then we will subsidize the rest. And then the money will be there to give her. I want this conversation like policies like these, and that's why I'm saying that these are distraction with the race comments and all this stuff. I want tangible conversation about moving forward rather than this racist start that's keeping. And I do agree with you that it needed to do, but I just think it's a big distraction. More energy put into it than necessary.
Listen, the problem with PATH is not so much that it exists or anything. One of the issues that in many of these cases, these programs, the bureaucratic and administrative costs is sometimes higher than the amount paid out to individuals, and we need to address that. Because I think that is the root. Sometimes serving these programs costs more than the program itself.
And in some of them, the people who don't deserve the benefit are benefiting. I've seen a report several years ago. I saw a report basically suggesting the greedy was robbing the needy, where you have people who are benefiting who are not in that income bracket that they should be benefiting.
Likewise, food stamp in America. Because I remember when my stepmother, who was a retired police officer, she could get these things, people come up to them and sell them it, or just give them it for such and such price. So, I mean, it's everywhere, but, we do need part, but I just think that they should peer it. I want to hear a policy say, listen, me, parents, we will support you, we will give your children a part, but before you can get it, you have to put yourself in an institution.
But
stick with it for 3 years.
To be fair, remember, a requirement for being on PATH is that your child must be attending school.
Yeah, I think he's suggesting the parents need to enroll
I'm
themselves.
not I'm talking about
the parents themselves, you say?
Okay. Yeah, subject them. Send them back to school.
No, but a lot of the parents who are on PATH are working, sir. Some of them are working, but they're just not able to make ends meet.
Well, they should go night school, because that's the thing, I'm always in conversation with guys like that. They want minimum wage to be raised. And I'm saying, listen, economic don't work like that. Because if you raise the minimum wage from 15, most people who hire...
Well, it sounds like all of your plans them sound anti-poor, though, my brother. Seriously.
No, I'm saying, but most people who employ people in that category are teachers, doctors, and...
Sir, your arguments, the flow of your arguments, all of them seem anti-poor.
We thank you for the call. Honestly, thank you for the call, sir.
Yes, sir. All right.
Norman, good evening.
Good evening, Norman. I was listening to the program this morning regarding the race issue. And I would like to make a comment on it. I don't think you guys in the media get what is really out there. I don't think Jamaicans are by very nature racist. Everybody get along in Jamaica and everything.
I don't believe so. I don't think anybody here believes that, do we?
Right. But you see these comments that here Mr. Warmington is making. I mean, I'll tell you straight off the bat, I don't support them. I'm not comfortable with that kind of language. But what you have to realize, there needs to be some atonement. Because there's a wide section of Jamaica that is still hurting. Because you see what was done to Mr. Siaga? What was done to Mr. Siaga, was not just done to him alone. There are hundreds of thousands of Jamaicans who felt offended and hurt by that. And what made it worse was that when Mr. Siaga died, there were some prominent members, some of who are now calling for the party to apologize. There were prominent members who said that there was a deliberate strategy on their part to demonize and to racially abuse Mr. Siaga. And I hear persons talking about in the 70s and the 80s, up to in the 90s, deep 90s, they were talking about black man time. So, for me, it's not about race, it's about revenge. That's how I feel.
Carla, I agree with you, because I think one issue that we have this habit in terms of our history and our political history, more specifically, is to gloss over what has happened when we move forward and we don't properly address it. And while we've made strides in eliminating a lot of the negatives, such as the violence and the classism and the racism in our politics, we never truly addressed the problem. We simply moved on. And it does leave a bit of a festering sore in the eyes and hearts of a lot of Jamaicans.
And when I hear the commentators saying that, it happened then, but it's not right. If it happened then, but it's not right now. It happened then, and it created a lot of hurt and pain for people. You can't just say that because it happened so far gone, let us just forget it and move on. That will not happen. And until there's some kind of truth and reconciliation where people are honest. Because even some of the people I heard this morning on the radio speaking, I was just laughing at their whole holier and down attitude. They have to acknowledge what transpired. Even today, if you go to a PNP meeting today, they are using even the same My Father Barney song to tackle and journalists. So why there's an outcry now, is because the shoe is on their foot. That's why the outcry is there. And we must call for some level of apology, acknowledgement, or something. The only suggestion I took this morning from the conversation was that both parties, probably and the Electoral Commission, should meet and have a discussion around it. But that discussion must also include recognizing the cruelty that was done and acknowledging that it was wrong by whoever did it. It can't be that we just say, all right, it did happen, so make it go on, but we don't know if it do it to Mark Bolin because of what happened to Mr. Siaga. That is not how people emotions work, People emotions don't work that way.
I hear you, Colin, but interestingly enough, I believe it was Peter Phillips who had recommended that we have a truth and reconciliation in regards to the 1970s and 80s in terms of Jamaican politics. I don't know if anyone has taken up that call seriously in terms of the political directorate, but I believe it is something that not only Jamaicans who lived through that time need, but I think it's something that the younger generation need to understand as to why sometimes the utterances from our political leaders are what they are. And I think there's that gap where we don't understand. Exactly.
I agree with you, Siobhan.
Even in death, Mr. Siaga was vilified, because remember, if you go on social media even today, you will see PNP bloggers telling you that when Mr. Siaga casket was here, it was a log in it. You guys never hear that conversation before. I read it anywhere. Where Mr. Siaga was buried in America, and it's a log they put in the casket. He's not in it because he wasn't. The casket was a closed casket. But you know, you can't just stay with
some things Some things are not even worth repeating, sir.
But, sir, with the greatest respect, what I'm saying to you, it is not that we are hating on Mark because of his being a white man per se. But people are out there that still feel aggrieved. And when they come and they hear the journalists and all those righteous people saying it is wrong, and I agree it is wrong, it does not help them because they still have that hurt and pain. What you must also equally say is that the PNP must atone for the wrong that was done to this man. A man who has done, as far as I'm concerned,
So, Luli, I can abide that argument, sir, that they should atone. I can absolutely abide that argument, that they should atone. What I will not abide, though, is the suggestion that because they did it means that we should do it too, which is what argument some people are making.
No, I am not suggesting that, But I am
no, man, not you, I'm saying you're making a reasonable argument, and I've heard that argument before, and it's an argument that I support because they did in fact introduce race into the politics during Mr. Siaga's time, and it was directed at him. A black man time now is basically a racial remark in relation to Mr. Siaga, and that happened, and the outcry wasn't as loud as it is now. And absolutely, people can point that out, and they should be within their right. And some of the arguments I heard this morning as to why the outcry isn't what it needs to be from Mitri Siaga, and I think also in the interview, Mitri Siaga and Dr. Michael Abrams. I'm not buying those arguments at all, yeah? But what I'm saying we need to stop, which is what I'm hearing from a lot of people who are supporting Mr. Warmington, is that it was done to Mr. Siaga, so it's fair game, we can do it now. And I'm saying no, two wrongs do not make a right. It's a simple rule that we learn from primary school, And
I agree with you. That is correct. Two wrongs don't make a right. I agree with you. But you know how you help to make things right? By acknowledging the wrong that transpired, and you know.
I hear you calling. We have to get some time in for other calls, but I hear you, and I very much appreciate the reasonableness of your argument put forward, and putting it in its historical context. When the apartheid regime came to an end in South Africa, and Mandela was to be coming in as the new president, you recall that there was this fear among the white South Africans that, Lord of mercy, these black people are going to lynch us, they're going to kill us. Right. And you heard the rumblings amongst the black South Africans that, yes, there's going to be blood. We're going to get back at these white people. Yeah. And it was the gentleman himself, Mandela, who said, oh, no. Yeah. We need to have a truth and reconciliation where everybody sits down and discuss this and see just how both sides were hurting from what happened during that regime. We have never done that in Jamaica, Things have just improved, and I appreciate the improvements that have done, but we've never sat down and truly discussed and reconciled our history.
It is and it is clearly based on the response from some folks on, I accept from you, caller, that a lot of people are hurting because of how Mr. Siaga was treated. Absolutely, I can appreciate that, and I have sympathy for those individuals, because I believe, based on my assessment of the issue, that Mr. Siaga was not treated fairly either. And racially motivated campaigns were crafted and executed against Mr. Siaga. And it wasn't right then, and it's not right now that they're doing it to Mark Bowling. And we have to accept that as reasonable individuals.
Agreed.
But to make it
better, apologize. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Would love more callers like that. Would love more callers like that, please. Carl, good evening.
Tyrone.
Hey, where's the master?
I will not accept no apology until election night 2025. No apology for none of them. And it's two guests this morning which was on the radio. One of them said, Golden Father give up his citizen for England to take up Jamaica. Mr. Siaga give up his American citizenship for Jamaica, which a lot of Jamaicans would like to have that citizenship now in America. And I will not accept me tell you something, Tyrone, and nowadays, a lot of us can come out and say we are labor right, how we used to embarrass. And blood is inside of us.
I hear you, Carl. But you would agree. You agree with the other caller, though, that we need to address this. And we need to move on in a reasonable manner.
Before you put that to him, Siobhan, I would like to say to Carl, your refusal, Carl,
yes, please.
Your refusal to accept an apology, Carl, says more about you than it does about the people who need to apologize, How can you be prepared to not
only time this thing can finish with?
You don't want the matter resolved
after
then.
election 2025. It must not discuss about Mark Golding as a white man in Jamaica want to lead Jamaica. It's Christmas Day. And by the 2nd of January, it must be full force for election night.
All right, Carl. Thank you. Have a good evening. I hope everything works out for you. Thank you. Have a good evening. Call us again. Jamaican man. Hello.
Hi, how you doing, man?
How are you doing, sir?
So hello to you, man. Nobody else. You having a problem with him? They've been calling him Mr. Bungle, man, huh?
Who's that now?
You understand with that? Your man, you're Mr. You're drunk. Your partner there.
You mean
Mr. Bungle?
You mean Hangle, Mr. Bangle? You mean Mr. Bangle?
You tried to be fun with that man. Why do they call him that, man? Why does he say that all the time, though?
Well, one of these days, I'm sure Tyrone will sit me down and explain to me why he's Mr. Handle, Mr. Bangle. All right?
All right, very good.
But what's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Bless up yourself, Virginia.
But I want to say to him anyway that he helped me out the other day with my friend had a car problem at the university, and he helped me out pretty good. And I want to thank him for that. So, Mr. Reed, I want to thank you for that, sir.
Tyrone?
Hello?
I'm not hearing him so clearly, Siobhan.
Just let him know that I'm thanking him for what the advice that he had gave me with my friend with our car in the parking lot at the university hospital.
Did you hear that, Tyrone?
He's saying thank you for all right.
For the advice that you provided regarding his wife's car at the university hospital. Do you recall that?
Okay. Oh, well, so is there an update on that?
Everything is fine. So everything is going pretty good. Thank you. I want to say thank you again. But yes.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Appreciate it, man. You're welcome, man.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, you see, with this problem, with the meaning of Mr. Siaga, why people is so bitter. The reason why it is because in Jamaica there, man, they give the PMP, they get away with so many things. The PMP, they will do anything and get away with it, and as soon as somebody from the other party do something, they fly on them like, it hurt, man. It hurt. Because there's a guy in the PMP there, I remember, if he cursed the Paula Lewin. A guy in the PMP cursed, and the guy was so violent. He cursed Paula Lewin, the lady that put away so many career criminals in prison. And I don't hear if it was Mr. Warmington did that, they would chop off his neck. And I don't hear anybody come out. And he got away with it. Also, they give the PMP so many lead where when people sitting back with their racist slogans, the Jamaica Party, you got to understand, man.
I know it's easy for a lot of us younger Jamaicans where we can essentially distance ourselves from it because we did not live through that period, and we sometimes can only understand it in abstract, to be brutally honest. And I do get the sense of resentment and just hurt that a lot of older Jamaicans feel about that period of time. even if it's so difficult for me as a young Jamaican who grew up in a term where the word is love, so to speak, and this belief that of the major being out of many one people, and just growing up on that motto and it being drilled into us that Jamaica is this melting pot where all of us can get along. It's hard for people like me and younger to understand in abstract this notion of Siaga being called a mean name, so to speak. But I understand it. I understand now, based on doing the research and the historical analysis of that period of time and what we were coming from in the past in terms of colonialism, how a lot of Jamaicans felt hurt about the maligning of Edward Siaga.
Siobhan, let's be fair about this. A big part of the reason why it happened without much outcry was because the PNP and that long unbroken stretch they had in government, they were able to achieve what I call institutional infiltration. Yes, so they had people everywhere.
And once again,
media, academia, everywhere they had people. And so Mr. Siaga wasn't really giving a fair shake.
And do you know what has brought that home to me, Tyrone? I have a few friends living in South Africa, growing up in South Africa, and they explained to me a lot of the situation there where they've lived under ANC rule for essentially the greatest period of time. And one of those taboos was you could not criticize the ANC because the ANC was the party of the black man. The ANC was a party that ended apartheid and saved the country. And they essentially controlled every institution in that country. And there was there were many who would or could speak out against what they believed were the corruption and the misgovernance of the ANC, but they couldn't because they were fearful of their lives based on the institutional power that one single political party had. And it's not easy to break that kind of hold on any country.
It's a fair point. And I just saw something on X, and I want to address this because a number of people are saying my leader Barney wasn't racial. It's racial undertones. Of course, it has racial undertones to it as well, and it's not just that. Yeah, the issue also is that the black man time now is clearly a racial remark. Siobhan, I'm not understanding why people are not seeing that, Siobhan. It's clear. We should leave the race out of the politics, then and now. But, I mean, thank you very much, though, for the call.
One more thing I want to say. What I want to say, finally, what I want to say. Why is it, the question what I'm asking right now, why is it there people in Jamaica is so lenient with the PMP? They can get away with anything. Why is it? That's what I want to know. This PSOJ, let's say the guy PSOJ, what he is this morning came on the radio. There were things said in Jamaica by the PMP, and he didn't jump on it. So why is so selective?
That would require a lot of, as I've tried to explain it using the ANC in South Africa as an example, that would require a lot of historical and political analyses. You have to consider that the People's National Party is considered the party of the poor, the impoverished, and the downtrodden, and the JLP has been characterized over its history as essentially the more conservative-minded upper middle class party, which I don't know if that plays out in terms of the actual context, but that's how it is seen. So when you get these kind of sensibilities, you have to understand that is why the People's National Party, being the protectors of the poor and the social liberals who want to bring us to a better future, and where we are coming from in terms of Jamaica ideologically, that is where a lot of it comes from.
No, they're not defending the poor. Come on, man. Don't say that. No. Don't say that.
But I am suggesting you that is how the party has been promoted throughout history. They have managed to get that badge of acclamation that they are the party of the poor, they are the defenders of the rights of the poor, and they are the ones who are pushing Jamaica forward. That is what they've allowed in terms of the historical narrative to take root. Even if you disagree with it, that is what has taken in root.
They are misleaders. They are not, come on. What this government is doing is showing people the truth and lifting up people. The PNP pull down people.
But sure, I'm not hearing our caller very well, Siobhan, but I say this, that, to the victor, the spoils, and it's generally those who are victorious, write history. The PNP pursued policies that were, especially during that 18-year unbroken run, that were deleterious to the poor. Because inflation, as you know, and as is well accepted by most, is the greatest tax on the poor.
And perception is a powerful thing, Tyrone.
If you independently, I know, I get your point, but what I'm saying is that narrative was crafted and curated, but I don't know if
that's my
necessarily
point.
accurate.
That is my point.
So
We tend to
point.
look back on things a little differently. But when you're living through it and you're going through a certain time period, I remember what came before that dominance by the People's National Party for almost 18 years. And we're talking about a history of colonialism and the downtrodden black man and those suffering under the root of where there was essentially very little upward mobility for someone of lower or middle class income. And the PNP is given a lot of credit for knocking down the barriers that have allowed a lot of Jamaicans to progress and better themselves in lives. And they've essentially used that now as a platform where it is very difficult for you to criticize them without looking as the villain. That is how history has painted them. And while we talk about making some adjustments in that historical narrative nowadays, that is how they have managed to get to where they are in Jamaica over the last 20
Institutional
years.
Infiltration, Siobhan Campbell, and I repeat it again. That's a big part of the reason why they've secured that narrative.
And I don't disagree with you on that one, Tyrone, but as I said, that forms part of it now. How many teachers growing up in the 1990s, 1980s, into the early 2000s would say that they did not get assistance from the People's National Party to get either the education to become a teacher, to get the education to become a doctor, to get to where they are in life? How many would say that it was not form a
institutional infiltration?
Exactly, and how many of them would say that this not form a basis as to why they now vote for the PNP regardless of what happens?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand your point, Chef.
But anyway, I'm taking up the caller's time. Simon, good evening.
Good evening. Are you hearing me clearly?
I hear you very clear, sir.
I'm hearing you, Sir Simon.
I just want to say I have two things. I've been trying to get back on Nationwide to respond to a caller while Tyrone was on some days ago. And he accuses me of saying something about the Prime Minister in respect of the guns and ammunition that was found at Upper Camp. I have the clip, and I have the clip. But I want to say categorically that I was not that caller that he accuses me of. But when I was trying to get back on at the same time, and I want to say to Tyrone, you did not handle the situation properly, because I believe when you are not conscious or you are not firm about somebody saying something, I don't think you should have supported what he said. And I believe
I'm not familiar with the specific case you're referencing. So jog my memory for me.
It is not going to be easy for you to remember now, because callers come and callers go and things like that. But I'm saying,
just tell me, which case are you talking about?
What I will do, I will be sending a clip to your WhatsApp, and you can listen with the section where he accuses me of the thing about the Prime Minister and guns, and was saying about you must ask Simon what happened about the gun, two gun and whatever and them things. You will I'll send to your WhatsApp and you will listen to it, because
yeah, you're right. I'm not recalling exactly, but you can send it and hopefully it will reach to me.
Yes, as I said, I will send it to the WhatsApp, the clip, and you will listen. And because I make certain I take the clip and send it to my WhatsApp, so that I send it back to your WhatsApp, and you will listen, because I really offended about it, because I did not mention anything at all about that incident by Upper Camp, never before, and nowhere at all. So he accuses me wrongfully. But let me say this. and the agenda of the calling of people's names. I am so disappointed in how nationwide is handling the situation, and I'm going to tell you why. I remember Mr. Siaga calling Jamaican people black scandal bag. That was one of the most.
I don't think that's what happened with that remark too as well. Isn't that debatable as well as to how people interpreted that?
Please.
I can't, Tyrone. You're the mature one in this business. I don't even know what the caller is referring to in terms of that remark.
Here's what you do. Do you have the tape of that black scandal bag remark as well? Do you recall? Do you have that in your archive?
You can just simply ask Cliff, and he'll put it up and give you.
Say that again? No, but Cliff, you're here, sir. You're talking about it. I'm asking you. Have you recently re-listened to that clip?
Hold on. Do you guys realize how important the 70s to the opportunities of today's world in Jamaica? Do you realize that the no bastard that they are again, the self-reliance, the equal pay for women, the equal rights and justice for people. Do you remember?
So I gather you're batting for the People's National Party. You want to talk about the financial collapse of the 90s?
Do you remember the student loan for all?
Do you want to talk about the financial
Tyrone, I would like to point out something. And those in the YouTube chats who are saying that I am way off base, listen to this caller and how he has internalized what the People's National Party has done over the years, and you will now see my point that I am trying to make. That there are many Jamaicans who understand that as the historical context of Jamaica and that as the historical context of the People's National Party. Whether there are other Jamaicans,
financial sector collapse
and then
the 90s under the PNP.
Do you remember how important those things are to the development of Jamaica in today's days?
I want to hear your thoughts on the financial sector collapse of the 90s under the PNP.
And that's a topic that I want to speak on. But you people that
you don't want to speak about that.
The financial collapse did not start in the 90s. It started from the 80s. And it come right up.
Sir, please. Sir, listen to me. You won't get to rewrite history on Nationwide 90 The financial sector collapse was entirely the fault of the government of the
I know. I hate to cut you off, Carl, but we're out of time.
We're out of time, though.
As I said, you see,
call us again so we can talk about it.
There are those in the YouTube channel who got what I said, and to those who didn't, you listen to that caller, and it simply reinforces the point I made. There are many people in Jamaica who see the People's National Party as essentially the savior of the social aspect of this country, and whether you want to agree as to how true that is or is not, it is what has affected the perception of the People's National Party over the years in the eyes and hearts of many Jamaicans, whether you want to accept it or not.
We run, Siobhan, I know we're out of time, but someone sent me this note. Mr. Siaga was filling a scandal bag with stones while on stage. Each stone represented a scandal that was perpetrated by the then PNP administration. The PNP actually referenced that lie about Siaga calling the PNP a black scandal bag during the 2002 election campaign in a TV advertisement. The PNP was forced to withdraw the advert and apologize. So you see, this gentleman is coming and running with that argument again, and these are the facts. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Because it's interesting. People keep talking about the truth. I tell you, the truth has so many different interpretations. Facts are what we should really count on in Jamaica in terms of when we do a lot of analysis. But we're out of time. It is 8 o'clock, people. I love how active the YouTube chat was this today. Whether they hate me or love me this evening, I love it, and I love the engagement. Thank you to all of my friends in the news and production department, led by the capable Cara Powell, our super producer Dana Davey, and our technical operator Andrew Glenn. The girl them Tugs Anderson. You don't like that name, but it's a stick. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And I'm Tyrone Reed.
Have a good evening.
calling all tradesmen, small contractors, skilled workmen, and small entrepreneurs.